Hi, y'all. Happy Motivational Monday. It's me, Dr. Chef. How y'all doing? Y'all thought I forgot about y'all, didn't you? But I didn't. It is a Monday, and it's cold out here, y'all. The temperature for today is most definitely, let me see, icebox. For those of you all who didn't not know that I was going to have to tune in, let me show them my nephew picture while I'm here. I see it back in the back. Yes, and so let me make sure I got that right. Y'all leaning over. I just saw him today. That's my first nephew, y'all. Y'all wondering why is that picture back there? And then that's my mommy right here. Let me show y'all right away. I'm glad that nobody tuned in yet. I'm gonna have to bring it down, Facebook. That's my mommy, y'all, when she's a baby. All right, y'all. I'm just started. That's been my motivation for this Monday, not to give up. It was cold. My internet would not start, so I had to start in at this time of day. Nothing else more. All praises be to God for that. It was just, I guess it was frozen, maybe due to the weather. Whatever the case was, I made it, y'all. I stayed motivated to make sure that I came before you all on this Motivational Monday. And it just so happened that it's falling on this same time frame. I honestly did not, I wanted to come before you all by 1 p.m. today. But the most important thing is that I stayed motivated enough on this Monday to come before you all, to see you all. And so for those who all tune in, it's good to see you. Hey there, guys and my brothers and sisters. I guess that's right. This would be the first shift for any of you all that work that first shift. This would be a good time for you all to tune in, I suppose. So that means it's working in you all's favor. So I'm happy to know that you all made it through this weekend. For those of you all that tune in, don't forget to like and share, because as you all know, I have the free range. And yes, I did have to stop and track with some of the shipment. I didn't not want you all to get caught in the crossfire of the snow blizzard, storm, whatever they want to call it, that we had here. And I'm not going to get on what's going on with the weather, because y'all already know. Some of you ought to tune in now and later. You're in tune enough to know that this weather is not natural at all. So I have to put that out there. Nevertheless, I am here. And so I wanted to be able to come before y'all, because there are some things that I was hearing over the weekend. I had a study group that I have some of my brothers and my sisters. And as you all know, I have a healing outreach, what some call ministry, a work that I do with those who have organizations that they may find my services helpful to them and their people, and that entails other businesses, that also entails sometimes speaking at colleges for the youth. Wherever I am needed, as long as it's there to help. Hey, there's Sister Candy. You all, I stopped things in motion. Didn't want to send out on Thursday for the um, um, the product for the advanced multivitamin. You all, I will get to that soon, because I didn't want it to get caught up in the crossfire of the storm that we have here, that we've been having for the last this week. And so if there's a slowdown for those of you all who's waiting on for your advanced multivitamin, and that's what it would be coming from here. Okay. Nevertheless, they are still doing their shipments, so you all still should receive any day now. And so thank you all for your support there, and I look forward to getting back you all testimony. Hey there, Facebook. Good to see you all. I finally got a chance to tune in at the same time. I got a little better. And so I don't know if this time is, maybe this is a sign that this is a time that I should start, because of course I could get a lot more done, a lot more consultations done, and come in where I could get in where I could fit in here at this time. Not too many come on live stream that I know of on this time frame. And so I'll consider it. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to consider it. So I'm going to open up, start this week out really positive and good here before I dive into the things that I've been hearing here. And then we're going to get into that motivation. So let's pray you all beforehand. Father, we thank you so much for blessing us to be here in another motivational Monday. We thank you so much for watching over our friends, family, and loved ones, and everyone that's tuning in, and their friends, family, and loved ones as well. We thank you so much for allowing me to still have the mind to come before you, even though I could not boot up the way I needed to, maybe due to the freezing cold weather here. But nevertheless, we thank you. Thank you so much. We ask that you continue to cover and protect those who are homeless, that don't have shelter. And thank you for the brethrens and the different ones that were thankful to get their blankets today. And the other times that you blessed me to be able to help support the homeless and give what they needed to help keep them warm. And we ask that you continue to bless me to be able to give more, and those who tune in to be able to have the same spirit as well, if they are in areas where there are many that is in need of support during this time. We ask that you protect us also from the different diseases and viruses that's lurking about, that has been man-made and designed to depopulate our people. We ask you to continue to guide my tongue, my mind, and my spirit to give our people what they need at such a time as this. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. 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 Okay. All right, y'all. All right. So yes, the weather today here. If y'all may allow me to be myself. Now, I told y'all if I can't be, keep it 1,000. That is my saying. Then I cannot come before you all at all. So today the weather here is, drum roll, icebox. And I did get a chance to speak to one of my baby sisters, and she's there in Florida. And she's like, I'm trying not to say how nice it is here, because I'm not even gonna do you all like that, because I've been seeing it all over the media, different ones, talking about how cold it is there. I said, no, honey, it's okay. Do that. I'm loving that you are experiencing some warmth along with other family members and everybody else that's out there. I'm okay with that. I said, because at least we are able to be warm. And for those of us who have shelter, I said, at least we are able to be warm when it's cold. There's many that's out that cannot get warmth. And it was just amazing. This is why I say you just never know what we the impact that having a loving, caring heart, what it does. I was as I was coming out of the residence, a young man, right before I got to the office, had stopped me, and I looked around and I had to double take, because he looked like my brother-in-law. I called in-laws love at the time. And I'm looking, I'm saying, oh, wow. And I was getting ready to call his name, but some said, stop. He looks a little bit like, like, no, he doesn't really look like him. I'm like, wow, he looks so much like him. And so he said, I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. And this is part of Motivational Monday. You also like, share. Remember, that helps to build the channel some. So for those who all that need it, so like, share. And so the brother, he kept saying, I remember. I'm looking like, oh, Lord, here we go again. Who is this? And so I'm thinking he's going to save him out for the channel or the YouTube, because I get that sometime here. And he said, you. Yeah. Remember you came downtown and you was passing out. He said, you was passing out the blankets and stuff. Yeah, I was going by and I remember you. And I was like, wow. So yeah, that was a few months ago, the end of last year. And he said, and I remember the tent, because we did a camping thing at one of the services that we had. He said, I remember the big tent that you brought. And I really like that tent. He said, I would love to get one of those tents. And so I was like, okay. I said, all right, young man. And so some said, ask him his name. And I asked him his name. I said, what's your name? He said, Sam. And I go, whoa. I said, wow, that was the name of my brother-in-law. And I said, wow. So he was the one that I was thinking that he looked like. And I was like, wow, what's the odds? And then I said, okay, if I come across it again, I will let you know. I'm thinking that I'm going to he'll be down there and only, but yet he's coming out of the same residential place. So he tells me where his residence is, and I'm like, huh? Oh, I'll be. So I guess he's a part time. Maybe he doesn't live there. He's just visiting, but he's still saying that he has family there, I guess. But he's homeless at the same time, or either he gives it to the homeless. Either way, all it did was it made me think. It just caught me off guard, and I was thinking, this is why I do this. Those of y'all, you send in gifts, you send in things, and I say it's easy for another person, for us to say what we do, but you all don't know because we're not seeing each other in person. But I'm a firm believer that those who practice telling the truth can sense and discern when people are being earnest about what they do and how they do it. But it just made me think about how important it is how we treat one another when we're out and about, even if you're not behind. And I've said this before, even if you're not in front of this internet, even if you're going places, you just never know who's watching you. And this is the reason why influencers, ministers, and teachers, I say this all the time, why it's so important that we're not always caught up doing things that we think that we're hiding from people, or whether it be good or whether it be negative. But most definitely, if it's negative, that saying was done in the dark will come to light, was done in the light will be seen, is what I say. And so you don't really have to allow your character or your spirit to speak. You don't really have to necessarily toot your own horn. However, in this Motivational Monday, I like to use testimonies and examples like that to help to inspire some of you all to do the same. That's still part of health and wellness. It was cold during that time. We was having a little crazy weather then. And so I felt led to go give it. And somebody was trying to talk me out of it because it was like, be careful, them they might get you, you by yourself. I said, well, right now I don't have time to go get any men or brethren to come to support me. And I need to make sure that I give away these things so I can make room for more. And so during that day and time, I remember speaking to a young man and encouraging him that to get a job, and let him know that if he called the number, then I would give him some resources so that he could find him a job. And he said he appreciate that. And so that's motivation for me, you all, is not just about telling you all to eat your vitamins and fruits and vegetables, is what I'm saying. What motivates me to do this is the fact that I know that because I am before you all, and because you all do show support, I'm letting you know that it helps inspire me and motivate me too, to be able to do other things to help our people and to help those who are in unfortunate situations as well. And so I love you too, Uncle. And so, and greetings to everybody that's tuning in. Please please like and share. And so I'm just thankful that I was able to just be a blessing. And so I told him, I said, wow, that's something. I got some more blankets that I was pulled out the storage that I said that I can give away. And I was going to leave them at first because it was just so much. And I said, you know what? I said, wait a minute, I can't leave these nice blankets. I need to give these away. So just the fact that he had came out that day before, that's Sunday, I was going to decide to leave them behind because I was just getting too overfilled in my truck. And so when he said that, it motivated me. It made me to know that I made the right decision to go ahead and pull them out. Because just because you did something before, I'm going somewhere you all with this, just because you did something good last week and that doesn't mean that you have to stop. Just because you supported your brother and sister last month does not mean that you got. If you have the means and the ability and the heart to do it today, that means it needs to be done today too. So it motivated me to tell the brother, I say, it's freezing cold again. It's icebox out here. I'm going to take the blankets I got and I'm going to give out some more today. That's what I told him. And he's like, okay, that's good. That's good. And so I'm like, wow. So I get here and I'm thinking, okay, good. I'm going to start at 1:00. Couldn't start at 1:00. Wound up having to have this while I'm trying to boot up and the internet is not booting up for me. Of course, I could have got on Facebook, you all, but I wanted to try to take twice, as you know, for a lengthy motivational Monday. That's I had other work that I have to do, so I couldn't afford to do it separate this time. And so I said, okay, Father, what do you want me to talk about, to speak on in this area? Hey there, Sister Beverly. It's a blessing to see you all, Brother Rashawn, Sister Joanne, everybody that says Sister Ken. It's a blessing to see every last one of you all. Um, Sister Diane, Dorothy, Sister, hey, Augustine, how you doing, Queen? It's good to see you. That's one smart lady there, and a blessing too. And so, Brother Lamar, it's good to see everybody. And so, I turned around and I said, okay, Father, woo-wee, okay. All this that I've been getting, I was part of a chat on this past Friday. Not a chat, it was a how do I call it? It was a session, and we were addressing the things that the community, that especially those of us in the Black community, and how we have to learn to keep our mind focused on that God really have in store for us to do that's more helpful for our people, and how we have to watch out for social media and all of the different things that they put out there to distract us. Remember, I've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks, you all. And so because of this still there and it's going to remain there, it takes these motivational Mondays and wellness Wednesdays and all the other things that has been discussed that has never been discussed before, that we know that is affecting our communities, that we know that is leading us to see things from the wrong perspective. Hey, there's the constant. It's good to see you, Queen. And so I'm sitting up here and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you had a birthday. Happy birthday. I can't remember the date. I don't know if I forgot it or not. Happy birthday or happy belated birthday. I remember you. And give my god brother happy birthday too. Please do that. And well, tell him hi. It's not his birthday. He got to wait till next month. I know. And so, yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? I heard somebody say, y'all, because I just was advised that it's by a dear brother David of ours. He said, we don't necessarily have to use these platforms to be so negative. And you all know, I started off when I first started this, that's what my theme was. And I know I was being attacked because that I like to use the term my enemy or adversary at the time, the wrong spirit at the time, knew that that's what I was going to do, that I was going to address anything that was not going to be, that especially from the healing ministry and wellness ministry standpoint, that was not healthy mentally or spiritually for our people, that I was going to address that, and I was going to use part of my own testimony to do that, and why it's not good, whether somebody mentioned your name or not on these platforms. And that's what we have seen that has taken storm in the midst of them trying to present another pandemic, in the midst of them saying we got another virus that's coming now. And man, the text that I got from one of the leaders, community leaders, and how they tried to learn from when they presented the COVID, and the way they were wording it, it may look like pneumonia, but it may not have no symptoms. It could be neck pain. It could look like the flu, but then say, but it won't be no fever, and it won't be. I said, oh my, but Jesus, they just throwing out anything now. Oh, wear the mask if you want to, even though they just overturned here in Missouri, they overturned it and said no mask. I said confusion, confusion, confusion. And isn't any coincidence that we got one of our so-called, I'm going to get you, Uncle, talking about some hot chocolate. Anywho, it better be some real hot water, some real cacao, I know that much, with some honey versus some junk. Anywho, I'm sitting here and I'm like, what is the bigger picture here for, especially for our communities? They're using I'm seeing where they're using a popular figure. And we already saw where there was an attack with, I could say name, Bishop T.D. Jakes, about his behavior. And then Diddy. Then how did we skip from there to Cat Williams breaking the internet practically with almost 1 billion likes? Which, by the way, you all, just for those of you all who don't know and you be wondering how it is that some people have to go through the long term of building up, whether they got good content or not, whether they look nice or not on the stream or not, whether or not they have a nice voice or not on these social media platforms. Just understand this, and I learned this within the last 2 years, that you can pay for likes. You can pay for your advertisement, and it can go from range from anywhere from $10 to thousands of dollars a day. So how in most cases, these likes and these internet, and I hope preferably that helps some of you all, they're being paid for with your money that you invest in those of us who come before the live stream. Oops, somebody probably mad because I told that, but oh well, whatever. I'm telling the truth and go to heaven. And so it doesn't necessarily mean, is what I'm saying, that somebody is liking what you're doing. And because you don't get the likes, it doesn't it doesn't necessarily mean that that someone don't like what you're doing. It's, I know me personally, I'm busy doing a lot of things, and sometimes I'll turn on and I hear something that's really good, and the first thing I'm going to do is going to grab me a pad if it makes sense and I find it to be useful for me. So I'm not thinking right then and there to like, share, or subscribe. But if it's something that I know that I'm working on, a project that I need, and I know that is very helpful for me, then I will go ahead and subscribe, because I want the algorithm to give it back to me, to keep giving it back to me. That's how, as you all know, how it works with you all. No matter how many different schedules that I've had, I pop up to you all, and you all know that I'm on. So just imagine someone that when they pay into Facebook, TikTok, and all of these other, well, Facebook mostly, and then YouTube, and they start making money off of it. Now they are pushing, the algorithm through the internet is pushing their information out there more and more based off how much money that they're putting into the ad, or if you're already famous and popular, how much you're bringing more people onto the internet makes them more money, because they can do more advertising, and that entices us to become more of consumers, meaning more to being more tempted to buy something on the internet. That's how that works. So I'm saying that to say that it has nothing to do as much as what we may think, for those who all that are not on this internet working a platform like this. It does not mean that that person is really liked as much as we think. So let's go back to how is the world, how in the world did we just go through a whole burst of everybody talking about Bishop T.D. Jakes and then Sean Diddy Cohen? Yes, it's still in the air and it's still going on, but then we turn around and now, oh, bam, oh, look at what Cat Williams said in 2 to 3 hours. Look at how he threw the Nation of Islam, which technically he didn't. He said he checked it out and, basically saying what it is, and pointing out, to me, I saw this, that he's pointing out the power and what his personal experience was with certain people and with certain organizations. But what I gathered the most was that our people, what I noticed, what took the minds of our people off of their health and wellness, and what took our minds off of whether or not there's going to be another virus coming through, what shifted the minds of our people to start going back and forth, talking about somebody that's just known for technically being a comedian, that's done made some real savvy, smart financial decisions behind the scene through using his acting skills and comedian. It made me to see just how easily our people are mentally able to be distracted. And I'm like, wow, just within that short period of time, people went from being into a rage to tripping off of what Cat Williamson said. And I ain't even hating on the brother. Some of the things that I've seen him do is really funny, especially how he described the zoo and what happens with the lion when we go and cage up our animals and then go in there and see him and then don't realize the animal is an animal. He's a beast. He's, you taking pictures of him and he hot now. He ready to go rah on you. Certain things the brother say is funny. And it's educational and very informative, even though he coming out there like a pimp. Here goes. I didn't see this much attention given, but I didn't, and I knew how it happened so fast and why it happened, just like some of you all did. But just in case somebody missed it, I want to share it that you all probably didn't think about. We get so fascinated by people with titles and positions, or when you get to drop of names and things of that nature, and don't think about it. It's a business, you all. It's a business. He's going to do a tour. So anytime, and you know, I learned this personally within the last couple of years, how it works. Whatever ruffles people's feathers or get people to chitty-chatting and talking about someone that they feel like you all are interested in, that is what builds their channels. That is what gets them paid, even when they saying that they're not getting paid. Even if they're not getting paid through YouTube, they're getting paid through you because you're paying attention. And if there's any money involved where there's constantly begging of donations or they have something to sell you, 9 times out of 10, they're going to make more money that way. So if they realize that every time they talk about a certain subject matter or bring up a certain person, that more people tune in and more people pay money, then now you have to question what's true and what's not, what's fabricated and what's not, as they watching a bankroll go ching 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 ching. That's why you'll hear some certain ones that thank you for the cash app, thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you for that. But they're paying attention to what you are giving money to, and it's not always truth. Sometimes it's just your perception and the fact that you thought it and they said it made you feel like you're making this mental connection with the individual on the other line. And the same goes for me, except for you don't hear me constantly saying every 5 minutes to give donations and to give me a cash out. Is it because I don't need it? No. The more I have, the more I can invest, as you see, the more I can give to homeless, the more I can do. It's not that I don't need the cash out or the money. It's just that my heart, I didn't get on the near to become a millionaire or to be able to make a lot of money off of YouTube, because I didn't want it to alter any genuineness or any truth that I had to share when I come before you all, based off of how much money I would get. And so there, it brings me to this. There was a saying that you all didn't catch, that even though a lot of us, well, there was something that was said that some of you all didn't catch, and I know it because it's when people say I had experience. That don't mean that you know all about something just because you experience something. That's your perception still. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be good for the next brother or sister. And so that's why I'm saying that we have to be careful, because everybody have their own separate needs. The same way I said I can't put everybody on the same healthy plan or regimen. It has to be based off of your lifestyle, what you have the ability, your health and wellness, okay, and your condition. I can't put everybody on all greens or all fruits at the same time, because you may be allergic to acid. Remember when I was saying that, for those of you all who had tuned in on the last Wellness Wednesday? I said that would be foolish of me based off of my experience and what I've seen and the different conditions that I know that different ones have. Some people can't even eat spicy foods because they have leaky gut syndromes, or because they have a thin wall canal there that causes it to have to feel like they have a heartburn. All different types of things that's taking place there, where their intestines have to, or the walls of their colons have to be healed, and they cannot take certain things like ginger, lemon, citrate, even though it's healthy for the majority that need it to help lose weight or to help boost their immune system. Well, the same, when I heard a statement printed out and they stated that he made the statement, and I went back and I did check it, I did, and said that the truth don't need no motivation. And everybody just going up in the Jessica's cat said it. Yeah, I'm saying it. I'm saying this time. And because they point out the IQ and from where he would have had learned how, what school he was accepted into. And this is not me hating y'all. I'm just wanting us, for the few that I have the attention of, for you all. Like, share, you all. It just made me to see just how Just because somebody say they have an IQ, or just because you like somebody, or because they make you laugh, or because you like the way they speak, doesn't make everything that they say true. I'm finna debunk that without me having a title of having a high IQ. I'm sure I have a high IQ if you compare me to those who you think that have a low IQ. And then if we want to go off of IQ, by what IQ standard? I'm not questioning whether or not he's an intelligent man at all. I believe that most of our black men are intelligent men that have learned something in life. So that's not the issue. But I know that's what we went off of because we're sizing up what sounds like it's true and what's not. What I don't like, and I said this months last year, I don't like when we have influencers that carry all these followers, and then they put stuff out there to make people and make it a trend to say things that's not true. The truth do need motivation. How's that, Dr. Chef? And they put that down for quotes that are known from being quoted from him. And now people gonna go around, you know what? You know what? I don't believe you. You know what? The truth don't need no motivation, remember? Or let me say it how the sisters would say it. You know what? What I just said is the truth, and it don't need no motivation. It's just like in people, the truth and the truth stand on its own. I'm learning about our people. We just like saying things. If it stands on its own, then it didn't need you to stand with it. It didn't need for you to even say it. If the truth don't need motivation, let's look up the word. I looked up the word motivation, even though I knew what it meant, but I just wanted to go back over again just in case I missed something, because we all are supposed to be a student of life. No matter how smart you think you are, and no matter how smart you sound. And yes, I have. I'm not hating once again, because I too have been called a Miss Know-it-all from many people in my life that it just so happened I knew certain things, and my response was no. It's just that certain things I know that you don't know, that makes you think that I know more than what you know. Now I know that was a lot. I'm saying slow motion. When somebody say, so you miss know it all, or you think you know it all, my thought is right away, no. It's just there's some things that I know that you don't know, that makes you think that I know more than you know. You may know more in other areas about things that I don't know about, because that's not my area of study. And I may know things that you don't know. See how that works? Because that's not my area of study. That's not your area of study. So, meaning each one teach one, we learn from each other. And then, and a lot of this jealousy and envy, and yeah, if somebody offend you, you all know, I know what it feels like. For those of you all that normally tune in, you all know I know what it feels like to get done wrong by somebody that you work with and colleague, and to the point where they don't even want to mention your name or nothing, no matter how much you contribute to their health and wellness, the health and wellness of their family, the health and wellness, because they couldn't use and abuse you the way they wanted to use and abuse you. So I know all so well why he feels the way he feels, if it was just about that. If it was just about being wrong. But that does not make me feel like that just because I understand where somebody is coming from, that everything that proceeds out of your mouth, I'm going to take that as gold and apply that to my life, and when I can tell that it don't make sense. So, going right back to the truth don't need no motivation on Motivational Monday. This is what we have to watch out. And most of the people say that they doing it themselves, so once they wouldn't be coming before you. The definition of motivation: move, to prompt, to give a drive to stimulate someone's interest in, enthusiasm for doing something. Now, if I give you truth about some, is it not true that if you cannot swim, and you decide that you're going to jump in the ocean of water, that if no lifesaver is out there, you're going to drown. Is that not true? Is it not true that if you don't do your homework and you keep failing in all your homework, that you're going to get an F when you're in school? Is that not true? Unless the teacher is having favor on you. Is that not more true than not? Well, when somebody shares that truth with you, that is an action. That is them moving, giving you the motivation to act on that is true, so that you're not left believing a lie and sit back and think that you can be lazy or be ignorant and go jump into that ocean knowing that you have no swimming experience at all. The truth needs motivation. It needs to be stimulated. It needs to be moved. It needs to be shared. It needs to be able to be stated in a way that it stimulates the mind to think. And instead of, because think about it, they say that we are more prone as a people to believe a lie more than the truth, because the lie sounds more interesting. And we usually say that with much more when a person is real passionate. We automatically believe that means that whoever's getting the angriest is telling the truth. Now, unfortunately, I know that's not true, because I was fortunate enough to have a sibling. I'm not going to call no names. I'm trying my best not to call their name. And they were known for joking around and lying all the time. And they were acted out because they actually had it in them to be an actor. Matter of fact, most of the people in my family is very theatric. And yes, some of us have played in plays and theater and things of that nature, and sing and entertain. Yes, we have. But here goes. I was the only one that was able to be able to tell when she was lying, because that's the sibling that I was around the most. It was just a look in her eyes every time it was a dead look that she would give while she was crying and acting out and had this serious look. She could fool my mother, everybody else, because she was really acting the passion. And I would be the only one sitting back looking, because it was just, I paid more closely attention. Body language, for the record, you all, it is true that we do more, most of us do more communicating with our body language than we do with words. Even when you are a person of many words, like I can be when it's an interesting subject matter that I want to talk about. I hope you all caught that. And so it was through her eyes that I could tell when she was lying. Everybody else was caught up in the fact that she was crying. And he stole my bike. Oh, yo. And she were acting out. She started this as a child. And so I couldn't believe how many times everybody was running to the door for whatever she said and was believing what she said. And then finally, a few family members started looking at me and said, Felicia, why you not running? Why you not saying nothing? Did you see what happened to your sister? I said, no, because she lying. Finally, a few family members caught on to it and were like, wait a minute. She know that she's lying. How does she know she's lying? I said, because it's this way she scrunches her eyes every time I catch up in one. She doesn't know that she got this scrunch in her eye that she does when she lying. And then she do a real silly pause, like. So I learned this as a toddler, y'all. I caught on to it as a toddler. Sometimes I would catch her doing certain things and then see her go run and tell her. But most of the time, I didn't catch her doing nothing. I just started to study her. So this in turn gave me the ability to be able to tell when once I caught somebody in one lie, to learn how to study them to know whether or not they were lying or not. Now, I also start to studying when people are on the road and they're communicating and they're seeing that they get feedback, especially on these social media platforms, you all. There's a certain adrenaline rush that comes in when they hear that amen, say, yeah, that's right, or the gigas and the laughs. I know I experience it sometimes with you all, but not to the point to where it makes me want to start lying and fabricating things and really start to acting out. That's just my personality. But there are some people that can't handle it, and when this is their business, meaning the number one way they make their living. Y'all, we have to understand that people are going to say things on these platforms because they know what you like to hear, whether it be truth or a lie. And most people are more prone, from what I'm starting to see, an exaggerated lie, because most people are not doing. It appears, let me use my language properly. It appears that most people are not doing all good or most good than something that's considered bad. It appears that most preachers are caught up in living a double life versus practicing what they teach. It appears that most teachers are worn out with the behavior of the children, and sometimes they're going to cop an attitude and not teach your child what they should be learning in school. It appears, you see where I'm going with that? So because that is most of the time, that is the case, then just understand when there's money involved and you're talking about people having tours after tours, they got to say something that's interesting to you in order, or that they think that would get your attention in order to, one, be a distraction, two, be able to make that money. The love of it is the root of all evil. It doesn't mean that we don't need it to live by, and everybody have their own standard in how they want to live. But just understand that we are the ones that's paying for that. So you really do control those you all that's on the outskirt of this social media platform. You control how much attention somebody gets, and how well they're going to live based off of what they think that you are ignorant of. And ignorancy just simply means you do not know. Now, I don't want anybody, I prefer to not have anybody on my platform to ever use that term, that the truth don't need no motivation. Yes, it does need motivation, stimulation. It needs movement. It needs to be spreaded. That's an action word. If you didn't know what that meant, motivation comes from the root word move. To put it in Asian means action. Move, action. Motivation, stimulate. Because we live in a world where, as we know it to be, that these platforms are used to lie and to manipulate people and trick them into giving them false attention, undue attention, and paying money out to people that's probably not even doing more good than you are, or that you can do in your own community. And since a lot of us are natural givers and have been through some things, we are inspired by those of us who are seemingly doing good things, or that are doing good things. And so you don't see no harm in it. But it's harm in it when we start to allow someone that supposedly have an IQ say things and put things out there just because we like their entertainment, and because we know that laughter is good for the heart muscles, to say things that we don't really take out the time to think about. See, I can be corrected in my grammar or certain things. I'm not prideful to the point to where somebody can't do it. That's why you all hear me say, yes, I just changed that word. I say, them your folks. Sometimes I'm going to speak in a little bit of ebonics, or like we do as quote unquote Black people, because I don't believe that, I don't feel like I have to be controlled by having an honorary doctorate degree or from going to college to have to sound. I don't think that makes me so much better than someone else just because I can choose to use quote unquote proper English. It does not change no education that I have at all. I've learned how to be more comfortable within my own skin, within my own being me, because I like to draw attention to people that are comfortable in theirs and that's real with who they are. And I believe that's why this person was able to be able to do that, because everybody felt like there's a realness that's coming from them, but missing the mark, missing the number one thing is that because we all like to laugh, and at the same time, like hearing what sounds like an intelligent mind, meaning they have information that you may not have, we miss the bigger picture is that there's money involved. And people want, whether they raise children or not, so what? Most women have raised children. You raising children, having some of y'all raise children? Think about it. Do you get accolades for raising children? Well, if I had millions and millions of dollars, I would go. I promise you, I would have me a homeless shelter here and a bunch of adopted children all over the world. My people that's closest to me know that that's one of my desires. I said, if I ever become wealthy, this is what I want to do. The home that I had, the mansion that I had, if it had been done right by, I most definitely would have took that mansion and turned it into a wellness center. I would have brought people into it, but unfortunately, because of what I was partnering up with, did not have that type of wisdom and that type of heart. It didn't happen. Does that mean that I'm going to give up and lose hope? No. I realize that I have the ability to do that, but this time I have to do it with the right partnership. See how that works? But if I had put all my golden nuggets and all of my wisdom and all of my dreams and aspirations into one person, then I would not be before you all today. And that person could probably say the same thing, but they have a different motivation of why they do what they do. Motivation and being motivated to do something does not mean that your heart is in the right place either. You got to ask the person, what's moving you? What's really motivating you? Is it the money? Or is it your heart? Well, you can't do this well. Yes, you can. If it's enough money involved, yes, you can do it without the heart. Yes, you can. I have seen that. I told you I've seen that in the health field. And now I'm seeing it in health and wellness. So-called with health and wellness. And so you can do the right thing with in the wrong spirit. Yes, you can. You can tell the truth and still tell some lies too. Yes, you can. That's just like saying that that what I do with my left hand, I can't do with my right hand. I can dribble a ball and wave at the same time. Y'all, we have to learn how to use our health and wellness and our mental discernment when we are dealing with things and making sure what I believe that my position is when I come before you all, and I've said it before, but since we do have new people that sign on and that subscribe sometime, I have to make sure that I remind them and let them know what this is about. Mental health and wellness is the most important thing to me because I strongly believe that it is true and that is my place and my position with the information that's been provided to me and with the experience that I have is to make sure that those who gravitate towards my platform, that you all not be left believing a lie or being deceived and saying nobody told me. That I need to be careful. Thank you for the likes and the hearts. That I need to be careful with who I listen to. That I need to do homework for myself. See, I was blessed to have an elder that used to say to me as a little child, even when we was coming up, and I told the different ones know I come up with a very strong, devout Christian background, even in the ministry myself, even became an ordained minister myself. And one of our elders used to say, and he's deceased, he's gone now. I will give him his accolades. Elder Leon Smith was his name. When he would teach the class, we realized that he was always giving us practical information, logical and practical information that we could apply. He wouldn't just tell us to study the Bible. He would tell us, he would use good examples about what you go through on the job. He would use examples of how the time was going to come to where some of you all are going to probably see the famine and you may take a mark. You may take certain things, and we can see that mark is symbolic of an ejection. If people say that you're not going to be able to eat certain things because of that you can't go grocery shopping, he told, I was being taught this as a child, y'all, well into my young adulthood life. And I never forgot it. It was the way he said it and the way he was talking. But I noticed every time when another minister would come through that was over the service, he would shut it down. And they would go back to tradition as usual. But we wanted to hear what he was saying. But the number one thing that I remember him constantly saying to us, no, go study it for yourself. Go read it for yourself. Watch and see for yourself. They would never leave us with the impression that we're supposed to only be listening to everything that he say and not going to do your own homework and own research. Each one teach one. Through that, your eyes may see something that my eyes may not see. None of us have the same vision. None of us have the same ability that I know of, even though they have capped it with a 20/20 vision. But now that I've done more research on my own, I understand that there are some people that could be diagnosed with being blind, like my daughter was. My daughter, Najee, she can't see this. They told me she can't see this. They ran the test. She can't see this. She can't see that. She won't be able to see how to write. She wanted to see. This is what the doctors told me. This is what the ophthalmologist told me. Now, of course, I'm thinking like, yeah, they got White Jackson Colton went to school for 12 years of college, and they got these degrees, and then there's these so-called fancy house pitifuls. Then surely they know what they're talking about, right? This happened time and time again. From the age of 3 on up. Oh, she can't see this. She can't see that. She can't see this. And I'm like, that's interesting. How is she not walking into walls then? Excuse the raising of my voice. How is she walking in? How is she not walking into walls if she can't see then? We're talking about education, y'all. So-called education. Where is this coming from? Where is the IQ coming from? Who gave this measurement of what is intelligent? Well, it's clear that I say if that be the case, then she shouldn't be able to see how to grab her food. Was she just sniffing it like a dog and just going blind to her food? No, I see her looking at the food. And so when I go to her teachers, I tell them that. They look at me like, huh? Say, okay, let's put this Cheerio in front of her face that don't have no color, and let's see if she's able to grab it. And by the way, you distracted. We ran our own test. And so I said, you go ahead and you do it. Rest assured, now, Jay, take her hand and just swim right there and grab that Cheerio like that and put it in her mouth. I'm like, wow. So just because somebody, y'all, have titles and degrees, and I can say this because I have them, it does not mean that you're more intelligent than another person. It doesn't mean that just because somebody tell you something that you shouldn't do your own homework. It's what I'm saying. It does not mean that even if I tell the truth, that this truth that I have necessarily applies to you. It is true that lemon help cleanses the gut. It is true that lemon can help purify the skin when you take it and cleanse off the skin real good. The citric acid can take and clear off the dead cells that you got piled up on your hands. And if you go out to eat and they give you water and you ask for lemon, that if you can't get to the restroom, then that it's more purified than you take and squeeze that lemon in your hand and rinse and wipe your hands that way, and that'll be more cleaner than you going to the using the Hive water, the toxic chemical fired deadly water. Now that's true. However, there's another truth that if you got a skin condition or if you got a cut or a slash there, that if you put that lemon on there, it's gonna sting the mess out of that sore and it's gonna inflame it. You're gonna have to grab the hand because you forgot you got a cut there, or you just got burnt, meaning that you cannot apply lemon to an open wound. Will it cleanse it out? Sure, baby, it's gonna cleanse it out, but it's gonna sting like heck, and it's gonna reopen up that wound, and now the healing process got to start all over again. Is that not true? Try it and see. You got to know what I'm saying is you got to know what side you're on, what position that you're in. You got to know your own body. You got to learn with your own brain and know what works for you, not just because a celebrity said something. Celebrating a celebrity. Look at the meanings of these, you all. Entertainer. It's to get into your mind, to tame you, to have you like a puppet, believing everything that comes across these social media platforms. I can't say it enough. It's a brain not washing. I don't call it a washing, unless you're saying it's washing away your common sense. But it's a programming to program you to be the follower. That's why you see the thing where it calls it the follower. Oh, I have 1 million followers. Well, it's a scripture that makes reference to that we must be careful. I'm paraphrasing. You must be careful that the blind lead the blind, then they all gonna fall in the ditch. The sheep can't go no further than where the shepherd lead them. It can lead them to a pack of wolves, and that means that the sheep is going to be isolated. So you are even though it look good that the shepherd is out there, right? You would think that because most shepherds don't do that to their wolves because they want to eat that lamb, they want to drink from that lamb, they want to use that lamb wolf. You would think that it wouldn't be a shepherd that would lead their lamb to slaughter. But if they want to eat that lamb, they will. Or if they want to feed up, if they want to put you out there or use you as a cover up so that the wolf don't attack them. Instead, I'm gonna sick my followers on you. It's a known fact that there are some animals that are smarter than human beings. Their senses is more heightened because they live on the earth. They live on their fours, so they can smell and they can pick up things that we as human beings standing up tall up from the earth that's not of nature will not be able to, will not pay attention to. We're looking up at things this way. It's not common for people to walk looking down. If they do always look down and don't ever look up, you're going to say that something must be mentally wrong with them. So I'm saying this on this Motivation Monday. I want to motivate our people to do your own homework, do your own research. Don't allow those of us who come before these social media platforms to deceive you and make you think that just because you hear that we have high IQs and we got all these different knowledges that you think that we have that's more than you. Stop you in your tracks from doing your own homework and research. And this is how we like to use the term iron sharpen iron, but I like to use the each one teach one, because this is the only way we're going to learn it. This is how you know when you are communing together the right way to become a real community, even if you're living in another community. This is what I understand. This is the wisdom that God has given me from my elders and just through sight, just through being able to see surpass. So back to vision. They say my daughter couldn't see well, but nevertheless, she could get around just like everybody else, and she wasn't bumping into walls. And even her teachers and her therapists say, yeah, that must be wrong, because ain't no way we can see that she can see. She's able to pick up her colors when it was time for her to learn her oranges and apples, and we showed her a picture. We say, where's the orange, Najee? She point to the orange. When we say, where's the apple, Najee? She point to the apple. When we say, where's the banana, Najee? She's, there go the banana. So if you can't see, then how do you know what to point at? So I had to learn, unfortunately, 20 years ago, that I can't take the word of even those who say that they are professionals. I have to do my own homework. I got to pay attention to what my eyes can see. And it's a known fact that I have, and those who all that can't tell and see, I have an injury that I had from 5 years old from being hit by an object, a very hard object. Blood was everywhere. It severed a muscle in my eye. And so I don't have 100% 20/20 vision in my right eye. So you can technically call me left eye. Just don't call me a lie. I'm going somewhere with that. So they thought that I wouldn't be able to pass my driver's license, the part where you got to look in and see the vision, because you got to be able to see out of your peripheral. So even though I couldn't make out all of the big letters when it was time to take my driver's license test and put my vision on, I could still see the red blinking light, clear as day. They couldn't explain how I'm able to do that out of my peripheral as a melanated woman. It's a known fact that melanated people with brown eyes, black and brown eyes, can see better out of their peripheral than those who are not melanated. Now, is that a truth? And is that something that they're teaching in med school when they're going to? No. You have to learn that on your own. You got to go dig deep, or you got to experience it. You got to know that for yourself. Your eyes going up like Chinese folks, they cannot see out of their peripheral. And you wonder why they drive so poorly and why they always running on, coming in on somebody that can't see out of their peripheral. They literally have to turn their whole head. The more up shaped the eyes is, the more they cannot see. Think about it. I can't see out of my peripheral like that. I know it's crazy though, but it's true. But if I got oval shaped eyes, and that's something about that melanation in that brown eyes, and them dark brown eyes can see beyond. So when my daughter wanted to focus on how much more she wanted to see, that's what she'd do. She'd do like this. Get real close up on you. She's using her peripheral. Now, why come the doctors couldn't tell me that? But she didn't use her peripheral when it was time to pick up a small object and eat, or when it was time for her to grab her pen, and when it was time for her to grab stuff. She didn't use that. I couldn't go off of what they said was true, y'all. That's all I'm saying, just because they had a degree or just because they claim that they've been doing this for a long period of time. You still got to know what you know, that you know for yourself, is what I'm saying. If that particular fruit is not agreeing with your body, then that means that it's not set for your body. Get another fruit. Get a melon. If something about the melon is making you throw up and you ain't had nothing to eat all day long, then that means that the melon is not for you. Get the cherry. If coconut does not agree with your body, even though it's known fact that it technically hydrates the body. We have a lot of islanders they're accustomed, their bodies is accustomed to taking that young baby coconut water or milk, as they like to call it. Some can't. You got to know yours. Some of y'all may have to just drink up here water, or have to get it from another fruit or melanation. But that would be the truth for you and your body. But me sitting up here telling you all that you all got to do the same thing in order to get the same healing? That could be only true for certain particular groups of people. It doesn't mean that it's true for everybody. And so my brain is already said, my spirit has a conviction to not just only focus on one particular group, but as many. I'm universal, as many that I can. It's no coincidence that my blood is a universal blood. My mind is universal. I don't see things one track minded. Only when I have a goal to grab something, when I want to grab it, am I one track minded. I don't want to learn from just one book, even though I was taught that that's only one book that you would need would be the Bible, and that's not true. It's not going to teach me, if I want to be an architect, how to be an architect. I can't just have faith and just say, Lord, bless me to be able to be an architect and never do no study or no mathematics or anything, or draw no blueprint or nothing, and get no type of learning in being an architect. No, that's not how it works. Unless it's in your DNA, core up that much into your mind. There was a blind young man that I did a research study on. It was a documentary. I forget the name of the documentary. But on the documentary, this boy was blind. So-called, once again, claimed he was blind. His eyes was going up, cracking the back of his head, and he could draw. And he could draw cities and towns. Some of y'all may have saw it. And with no sight. It was in his mind. Maybe one of his ancestors or his It was in his memory bank to know how to draw. He'd been blind since he was a little boy. But this masterpiece of this architect, these builders, amen, people that could see could not draw that good. So I'm just saying, you all do your own homework. Learn. If I say that it appears that B blood types should not be consuming cashiers, it's not good for B blood types to be taken in cashews. It doesn't sit well on the stomach. And you say, well, I've been eating cashews for a long time. It does not necessarily, and you say, I'm not having a reaction. Then stick with that. I can't tell you that you should keep that up for a long period of time because I'm not with you in your body 24/7. So I dare to get over here and act so robust and so much like my truth just because I read it or because I met a lot of people with B blood type that said that cashews upset their stomach. That means that have to be applied to you. Maybe you were given the wrong blood type. You adopted. You didn't know. Some people have the wrong birthday. Who knows? It's important that you know, though, because that's your body. I met people that are carnivores where all they do is eat meat. And lean, healthy, as it appears to be, as smart as a whip. Now, I'm not going to be with them from year after year after year after year after year to know if whether or not they're going to live to make it to 100 or outlive or be more stronger than a person that's eating more fruits. That's what I call a fruitarian. I cannot say that. I have not done enough research to say that one is more healthy than the other. All I know is that I don't care for the thought of me personally thinking that we need to slaughter so many animals for our sake when we do have fruits and vegetations. So my preference is to eat fruits and vegetations, even though that's a living thing too. I'm sure the berries want to stay with its family. But because there's a writing that this is what's healthy for us, we eat it, right? Because there's a lot of grapes, we choose to eat them, right? But just what if somebody decided they owned the land, like what we see now and is being bought out? And they decided, they said, you know what? Berries is a human being. We found out that berries, that grapes can talk and that we're not supposed to be consuming them no more. What if 20 years from now they did that, y'all? Just hypothetically speaking. Then we got the next generations that's going to be saying, you know what? No, grapes are human beings. We're not supposed to be eating grapes. And that's going to be true to them because it's going to be a law put out just like they did it for marijuana before they started lacing that and saying that it's bad for the body. And now nobody should be able to consume, cannabis. No one should consume cannabis for any healing purposes. And now look what we have. We got options now to take classes and courses to make a lot of money off of helping to distribute cannabis for the healing of the body now. Did that mean that cannabis was ever bad for the body? Did that ever mean that it didn't heal the body just because they made it a law? And we got our so-called law-abiding citizens that'll sit there and go right into talking about what the law is and sit there and crucify people just because it's against the law. And here it is, they can't afford prescription drugs, but yet they're growing cannabis in the back of their yard or in their farmland, and they're able to help heal their wives and their husbands and their children from cancers and all different type of disease. That sit there and get real holy roly on you, turn around and start convicting you about using cannabis because it is a healing herb, and then turn around and say it's against the law for you to use cannabis. And no, it's a drug. Is that true? Or was it just law? Did some lying tongues or some money hungry people get together and just formulate a law because they got issues, egotistical, narcissistic spirits that just want to control something, make it a law, meaning there weren't holy men and women that made these laws that could entrap you and have you believe in a lie just because it's blasted all over that it's illegal to use cannabis just a couple of years ago. But then if you do your own homework, like my elder taught me, then you will find out that in less than about 40 years ago, cannabis was legal. All they was just distilling it from the liquid form and all. And people were being healed. Even some people were smoking it. Yes, I go against the aromatherapy of smoking it because of the effects, the euphoric effects that it has on the mind, on the brain, and that it takes you into a whirlwind, and you don't know which strand of it that you're getting. So therefore, if unless you're versed in that, you don't know what strand. And so, no, I don't recommend for you to smoke cannabis. But if you're eating it in an edible form and you know your body type enough to know what you're which form of cannabis that you're using for, let's say, inflammation, to reduce inflammation, then by all means then do that if that's what you have access to and that's what helps you, versus going to spend your copay or money or anything on as prescription drug, even though they're getting ready that it's now considered a prescription drug. At least their strand and version of it is. So what's true, y'all? How do you learn truth in such a time as this, when we have so many people coming before you with their versions of what true is and what their experience is? The only thing you can go by is a person's testimony and experience. But to make broad statements about things that you that you didn't even create, it's foolishness, is what I'm saying. So on this Motivational Monday, I like to move you all, inspire you all, intrigue you all to start the thinking for yourself when you hear things coming into that canal that's coming to confuse you all, to make you think that right is wrong and wrong is right, that up is down and down is up. It's set there to cause confusion, to cause chaos, so that it can pique your interest, so they can entertain you, and then eventually get your time and your money and your money and your mind. And it will not help you in the long run. Bottom line is that the truth does need motivation, is what I'm saying. I don't care who debunked that. All right, y'all. Now, let me read some of these questionnaires, y'all. Like, I had to get that I had to put that out from my heart. Greetings to everyone. Did I give my proper greetings? Praise God to all the Christian brothers and sisters. Shalom to all the Hebrew brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam to assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters from the nation. And how y'all doing? To everybody that's not participating and got their own thing, how you doing? For those of you all that do not come from any of those organizations or any of those ways of lifestyle. All right, money and lies. Yes, Sister Sandra, that's what I'm saying. This is powerful. It's what I'm getting. Good evening, everyone. All right. It's good to see you. Absolutely was having this conversation last week. Exactly, Constant. You already know. Yes. Shalom. You all do have shipment coming out. We're going to get to, unless there's any questions, any other statements that I need to read. Let me make sure I scan down the chat. Note that in the chat is the 618-388-8100 number for those of you all that want to schedule for a health consultation, or if you want to place in an order. Some of you all do via text in for what you want to order, and then you send your cash app. That is helpful for me. I will admit that is. It saves me time, and then you email your not email, but you text your address as well, which that's helpful as well. Since right now I am a one-woman show with some assistance from time to time from another naturopath. Okay. All right. Hey there, Facebook. I see you all. Let me look and see how everybody's going, because I know I be missing my brothers and sisters. Hey there, Keisha. How you doing? All right. Hey there, everybody. I see everybody on Facebook. Hey there, Ishmael. It's good to see you, bro. I was just thinking about you the other day. I got the oh, we got some catching up to do, brother. Got some catching up to do. How you doing? Why don't you drop some of that knowledge there? Are you still practicing, Brother Ishmael? Are you still practicing what we last discussed? And if so, I'm open for discussions and so you can drop some knowledge from different things. I am not biased, none whatsoever. That's what I'm getting myself from out of this box that I was in. And now I'm in on bringing about more of awareness about eating according to some of our blood cycles. I find it to be very useful for some of our people. And yes, I am talking to you, Brother Ishmael. So I don't know, knowing you, I don't know if you're driving or got yourself busy. So if you can't type back, then I do understand. This is good to see that you all Happy New Year's. And I pray that the family and everyone is well on your end. Let me see. This is powerful. I replied to your text in January 2nd regarding my address. Have you seen that? Okay, I will double check for it. Sister Jamaica, I will double check because I have quite a few to go through. I would double check, but I know that your order is set to be going out. I know that for sure. We just had a lot of snow, so the temperature today was icebox. Don't show this to nobody. That's my son. Icebox. What is that? What is icebox? That's not a temperature. Just go ahead and free their mind and tell them the truth. What it is, cold. This evening, temperature will be frozen. What is frozen? Is frozen is not a temperature? Yes, it is. Cold. Okay. Okay, y'all. I like to have the time. I just don't like for our people's minds to be deceived and caught up in nonsense if we can help it. I know, man, because it's just so much out here, y'all. I feel y'all. Look, I'm like I said, I fully understand. Fully. Sometimes I wish, yeah, it said it's warm here. Hey, to Jamaica. Of course, you in Cali. I'm going back to Cali. Cali. Look at my preachers coming in to my son. Oh, let's pray for her. She said she going back to Cali. I gotta get that first. I was gonna go out to Cali, but no, I had to change it. We are in the deep freeze here. Where you at, Sister Paula? Where you at? I forget. Detroit, Michigan, right? You in Michigan, all right? Detroit. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know, yes or no. So y'all can throw in the box where y'all are from my soul. I see I got Cali in the house. I got Detroit, Michigan. I know I got Utah in the house. I got Maryland. I got Virginia in the house. I already know I'm back. I know I got my show me state St. Louis here. I got Illinois in the house. Watch your mouth. Let me stop. I was super cold in my neck of the woods. Sister Marilyn, Michigan. Yeah, that's why I thought I'll be heading there next month to Michigan. And then we have a family reunion coming up in Michigan as well. I was just told this summer. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm trying to pay attention. Y'all, I had to get that out. That was most of what I had for Motivational Monday because I know all about the snowborn raised in New York City and Germany. Woo! How did you make it out of that Antarctica in Germany? I heard it's bitter cold in Germany. My goodness. North Carolina in the house, mild and moderate temperature, not too cold as of yet. Okay, the temperature coming this week. Well, will be in the teens. Woo, according to the forecast. So yeah, so North Carolina's gonna get it too. All right. New York City in the house. Man, y'all ain't playing. All right, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I mean. You just never know when we're speaking, even though I don't have thousands tuning in yet. One person can spread it to 100. And this is the reason why I understand, even with my circle of people that tune in from time to time, that it's important that I use my platform to inspire people to think, just to think. And I love learning from you all too. Like I said, I can't teach you about your body except for you tell me what kind of symptoms that you have. This is the reason why we have the coaching sessions. And I love it when I have them because I learned so much more about these different particular body types and the different experiences. And what I have learned is that more than 80% of the time, our health and wellness and how well we take care of ourselves is usually centered around whatever is ailing us in our lives, whether it be the job, whether it be family, whether it be relationships. And then sometimes, and a lot of time, it is stemmed from childhood trauma, how much you really care for yourself overall mentally, because you're constantly having these different flashes of what you had an idea, what you was fantasizing that you wanted your life to be like. Well, not, and I think that's a lot of us, and that it didn't turn out exactly how you thought it would. And then some of you all, that's not the issue. It's turned out to be so different, but so amazing, to where you don't know you don't know what to do with yourself. And so what happens is that the more money, the more fame, the more attention we get, the more we feel that we have the freedom to do whatever we want to do. And then we don't have to be mindful of how well we take care of our bodies, because to whom much is given, much is required. So if you know that you had, and I was just talking to one of my siblings about this today, that she posted a picture. And I said, it's interesting. It was an old picture of my baby when she was, it was a Mother's Day with my mother. She was commenting on how beautiful and young my mother looked. For those who all don't know, my mother transitioned in 2021. That's tuning in. I do see new faces and new people here. So I'm saying that. And so she was mesmerized and thinking about that time. I said, it is interesting. I said, for me, I was able to see that from a lot. I said, I really had to have a tussle to get a chance to get down there, is what I remember. And I explained to her where I remember where I was basically 6 months pregnant with your nephew at that time. And so it was a struggle, but I was happy that I made it because I could see my mom. And so that's what I remember by, and it brought back tears to my eyes thinking about my daughter now that she has transitioned last December. It brought back all those motherly goo goo gaga type of memories of just how good just how special and sweet of a baby she was. And so, but for her, it was mama. And I'm glad that I got sent this picture from 24 years ago. Because Najee would have been 25 this. Well, actually, Najee would have been 26 this year. And so I'm like, wow, it's something that how a picture can mean different things from different people, whatever you were experiencing at that time. And so I was like, it's not wrong, even though it brought up emotions. And before I know it, she's crying on the phone. And then I'm being big sis, have to stay strong for her. But then before I know it, I'm sitting up there and I'm like, man, that was my mama. I'm glad I got to see my mama. And how I was like, I didn't care how much of a tussle it was. I'm just thankful that I was able to spend that time with her. And so before I know it, we both on the phone crying. And then I had to tell her, hey, look, this is healthy. This is good. I said, now think of it this way, sis. You got people that mother passed away on the table, and my heart go out for anybody. If I said that and that happened to you, then my prayers, my peace, love to you all that didn't even get a chance to experience having a mom. I say, she said, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I think about stuff like that. Or man lost their parents when they were children. I said, I transitioned when we were grown. And she taught us everything that we felt like we technically needed to know that she had in her, that she knew. And that it's our job to carry the torch from there. And so she said, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. So if anything, it makes us cherish the good moments that we did have with my daughter and with my mom, and looking at that picture, seeing them both gone on, transitioned on now. And it's what we was raised to call it going on to glory. It was like from the beginning to the end, they were together. And I was like, wow. But that's how life goes. You still have to be motivated, moved to still walk in your truth, to walk in your purpose is what I had to say. And then I explained to her, we were going down the list of the different people that we knew that were born on her day. And she was like, yeah, there's something. I said, yeah, I knew a sister, a mother at one of the churches that I had my daughter at, that had made it to 100 years old. And her birthday was the same as my mom's, May 11th. And then she also said that she came across something when she was looking at the minister, Louis Farrakhan, and she was like, yeah, she realized that, oh wait, she said, wait a minute, that's his birthday too. I said, yeah. I said, so our mother had longevity in her, quote, in her. For those of you all that understand the science and the season, there is a lot to the season and time that you're born. It's not so much about a horoscope or and I'm speaking to you all from my experience of what I've seen now of countless of people that I've counseled down throughout the years now. And I said, I know there is something in the season and the timing that we are born, of certain things and certain mentalities that we have. Not all of it can be altered based off of your education and your experience and your environment somewhat. But for the most part, I said, yes, I believe that her being a spring baby, that she was supposed to eat a more healthier plant-based type of way of eating style, and fruits and things of that nature. And I knew it because every time she said that she did eat, she always said, my mom always said that she felt good. She felt so much better. But every time she would eat other foods that we are known for eating, she would say she feels sick at the stomach, to the point to where she would throw up her food. And she would try to hide it from us, but I was here. You know how it is when the oldest. When the oldest, I was paying attention to practically some of everything that my mother did. And so I'm like, why, if the food tastes good, would she be practicing reverse peristalsis? What it means is vomiting. For those who wonder what reverse peristalsis is, I told you all that I do my best not to use all these medical terminologies that would go over some people's heads, because that's no good. Goal is to get you to understand what I'm saying, not to sound all profound and prolific and like I know something. Um, it, it means nothing if you don't understand what's being said. And I don't want to spend a whole hour segment breaking down definitions. I gave the definition of motivation because I understand the words that we are used to hearing now. Sometimes we can forget about the meaning of it when somebody come over our airway and say that the truth don't need no motivation. No, the truth most definitely needs to be moved. It most definitely needs to be planted into the seeds to encourage or to inspire somebody to know better so they can do better. So that is a movement. That's motivation based off of the true information that you have received. Now, if you're gonna be motivated by a lie, look how many people that are locked up because somebody lied on them. Look how many marriages are broken apart because a mate lied on another mate. Look how much damage a lie do when somebody is motivated based off of a lie. Look how many people are dead because somebody identified the wrong person and said that this one raped me or this one hit me, when it was somebody else that just looks like them. So if a lie can motivate somebody to do wrong or to act in a manner or to mistreat someone or to get someone locked up, then how much more does the truth need? If where we live is such a toxic place, and we are being fed, for those of us who are feeding into all of this trash that's on the internet, the web, then that means we need more people being motivated to speak the truth. They're not. Then those who are lying. But it just seems like it would never happen that way, because unfortunately we all used to be entertained by that's a lie, or we are more led to believe in that is wrongdoing, because more people do appear to practice the wrong thing more so than we do the right thing, because that is how most of us have been trained in this world, is to think that it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to name call every time somebody get on your nerves. It's okay to practice bad behavior or toxic behavior just to get a laugh. It's okay to constantly call out your brother and your sister or another individual just because you just don't like them. Unfortunately, this is where we are at now. It's okay to constantly pull up on YouTube somebody's fighting because you remember being bullied when you were younger, and that just stimulates you. No, it's not. No, it's not. I have to stand on the side of the truth and tell you that no, that's toxic. Like, share, you all. Like, share. And so this would be my motivational Monday of mental health and wellness. I always say it over and over and over again. Starts in the mind first. What kind of thinking are you doing? Do you have stinking thinking? Do you are you filled up with a lot of strong illusions of what something is? Is your mind one of a fantasy like island type of mindset to where every time somebody speaks truth, you got to debunk it, you got to go against the grain because it's just not what you fantasize and it's not what you want it to be? If that be the case, then yes, that means that you got to tune in more so that you can get used to being told the truth versus a lie or someone feeding into your fantasy. Listen, yes, and amen. I am listening, my beloved sister, Dr. Shep. Thank how you doing? It's good to see you, Sister Shep. I haven't seen you in a while. Sister Shep going out. That's good. That's a blessing to see you. Hey there. Shalom, Sister Cynthia. It's good to see everybody. Okay, and so that's where I'm at. So back to mental health. That brings me back to the mental boost, y'all. Y'all know what it is. The mental boost is in the house. 65 for a 32 ounce of mental boost, all natural mental boost. Yes, I took it on live stream. You guys scroll back. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was, I think it was Wellness Wednesday about a month ago on the YouTube. I took this and I started literally almost speaking in tongues. My brain was going so fast, just was right, and I did not know that was going to do that to me. I promise I was not. I have the ability to speak fast sometimes, because my mother was a fast talker, but I promise to God that is not how that. It wasn't looking to my eyes. It was not supposed to go that way. I was like, well, no, I'm trying to slow down my way. I'm like, what in the world? And like, so this is the Dr. Shep Natural Liquids Botanical. This is my brand that is, and it works. I have my clients with Parkinson's disease, early signs of dementia. So you can only imagine they take 1 tablespoon a day. It is sweet. So they be wanting to drink it up, and I have to tell them, no, don't do that. I need to study. I need to get the feedback within at least 2 weeks before you go trying to cheat. And that's just to be expected. And you're dealing with 70, 80-year-old people, of course, and they're losing a lot of memory. Of course, it's gonna be hard for them not to take in natural supplement like this in this liquid too. And then they can put it in water, and it can still keep its potency and be good for them. And so I recommend 1 tablespoon a day for those of you brainiacs that got good memory. You can remember where your keys is at in the morning. You can remember where you place your shoes at, and you can remember what you did with your cell phone. Then you don't need this. You don't need this. Hey, I ain't trying to sell it like that. Be walking around doing calculation and calculus and all the different things. Be putting together like a new math, just like oh boy, what's his name? What's the actor's name that's out there now? That's got the new math. Help me out, y'all. Hold on. Maybe I need to take this mental boost. I was just looking at him. That's because I study him a lot. He played on the show. See, and I don't even watch the show. Help me out. What's that actor name that got the new Terrence Howard? I got it. See, that was too long. I need the mental boost. I got to do the 1 table. I'm smiling, y'all, but I'm serious. That's it. That took me too long to remember that man's name. Too long. And so the mental boost, y'all, is good for boosting your memories, what I'm trying to say. And I'm serious. I am going to take some of it because I didn't like that. It took me 10 seconds. And then Sister Tasha, thank you, Sister Tasha, because she had put them out there too. Okay, I didn't see it, but I see you now. Yeah, Terrence Howard is creating a new math and aviation system, and he's saying right. And I'm more led to believe the way I saw him calculated. I'm led to lean more towards it that is true. I said I'm led to believe, to lean towards that true. I don't 100% accurately know it. I have not studied his plan yet. I'm putting that disclaimer there. I'm just saying for that he did show that he's putting together. It seems like the brother's on to something. Okay. Now that's on my mind, my sight, what I can see. You may see something else. And the fact that he's getting so much pushback for it, that is just how it usually works. But I'm hearing that he's going to do, he just need landfill to be able to show that it works in the aviation system. So that would be interesting, you all, seeing that we got our quote unquote Black History Month coming up. Well, isn't that nice that even though we are so-called the original people of this earth, but yet we get 1 month to celebrate who we are. Interesting. I'm going to leave that right there. Anywho, there we go. What's the cost, Dr. Chef? For the mental boost is $65 for the mental boost. If you want to get 2, that's $150. And then three, what did I say? Just add 65 up twice, and then 3 times, and then you know what you have. I'm willing to let them go for $150 if you want 3 of them, because that way it saves you shipping and handling, things of that nature, if that's what you can afford. But 65 by themselves, 75 for the advanced liquid vitamin is what I have. Everybody knows the advanced liquid vitamin that I have is the bomb diggity bomb. Can I say it like that? It's also sweet, loaded pack with all different values. I got to go back to last Wellness Wednesday and see. I went down this whole list. No preservatives, no additives, no this. And this also is my Dr. Chef brand as well. This is my own brand. The DC. Yes, I did think about y'all in DC. Woo, woo, woo to our DC people. But it stands for Dr. Chef. And this is the only liquid advanced vitamin, a multivitamin that I have come across so far, so good, that is loaded with all the different major superfoods and vitamins that most of us need in our bodies. And then, as you can see, I have my Gmail on there. And then if you want to mail in any information, if you want to send donations, it's down on the bottom as well. 2 tablespoons a day is what's recommended for this amount. For those of you all that are not taking any good, high, potent, natural multivitamins that feel that you need it, because you're not in an area where you can eat homegrown fruit, vegetation, and even for those who do eat meat, to those who don't have access to clean meat. Am I an advocate of meat eating? No. However, once again, I am getting introduced to more and more of our clients that have this has been their lifestyle, and they are not professing to be no part of no type of religion group or anything. And that is what they come from, is a whole line of carnivores. So I cannot, my conviction is to serve to each one to do what you believe that is best for your health and wellness. I know for mine, what seems to work the best is for me to stay on fruits and vegetations and some legumes, and to keep up with my vitamin intake. That's what seems to work for me. Prior to that, I was able to do fish. That seemed that had did well on my body, but only whitey fish that was less than 10 pounds. Now that they have done they nasty to do diddy to do die, and I watched Seaspiracy, that steered me away from even the fish. Now there are those who have access to cold water fish. That is their lifestyle. There's many different tribes where they do that, and they're more stronger than us, faster than us, live longer than us. I cannot say that they look better than us, but nevertheless, and what I mean by look, I mean where the skin looks clean and here. I cannot say that for those who eat flesh, but there are some who do. So my point is that I'm not going to create arguments about something that another person feels like that works for them. Just like the old teaching that we have, you can't save everybody. All of us aren't going to believe in the same thing, and all of us are not going to have the same lifestyles. My job is just to make sure that if there's any dis-ease and you need help with it, and you say that I believe that what you're teaching, I would like to try, then that's when I'm willing to help where I can help. That makes sense? And so that is not just a safe route. To me, that is a wise route. And so I like to be more wiser than right. I'd rather be more wiser than to try to make a point. Because, and that's not because I'm afraid to. It's just that because I do understand that different people are, we have people from all walks of life and all different type of environments and all different type of places. And for the most part, for those of us who live here in this toxic city and town, we need a flushing of eating more green leafy vegetables and fruitation seems to do our body far more better than us taking in the type of meat that we have access to. Hmm. 1 second, Facebook. Oh well. Okay, y'all, I had to get that. Okay, sorry that you went through that. Facebook, I'm coming back for you all. Resume. Sorry about that, Facebook. I had to answer that. Okay, so let me address my brothers who came after somebody that they was thinking was a stalker. Okay, y'all. Y'all, well, yeah, I do have my due protectors that come into play if they feel like, let me put that out there. If they feel like there's someone's trying to take advantage of me based off of what I've already gone through um, this past year or so alone. Yes, uh, I do have security and brothers that will rise to the occasion without no problem. So I have the Lord on my side, and I have some lords that will respond if they see any sign of anybody that's coming around that say they want to help, and they detect that you're not genuine, or that you're expecting something for nothing. That is how they are. So brother, if that's what you have encountered, I'm glad to know that you are okay. And I say, if there's, I will discuss the matter as soon as I can, address the matter. Okay. So in other words, I don't receive phone calls. I can say this on national. I don't I'm not in a position to practice a lot of calls at late at night, texts, and things of that nature. If it's not strictly about health and wellness, it has to be concerning. It has to be a decent hours if you're not a family member and someone that I personally know, or especially if it's on weekends as well. Especially when my schedule is tight and busy, they take that as a warning sign because I am a woman and I am a single woman now here doing this work myself. And so my brothers, they step up to the occasion if they see anything that looks flaky. Okay. And I have given them, I'm gonna say this here now, I have given them permission to do so, because men know men, and I can't afford to ever make any of the major decisions that I've made in my life that could jeopardize the work that I do. um, it it jeopardized just too much. As a naturopath, as one that's worked in the community and helped my people for 20 plus some years, I had to deal with quite a bit, and there have been a few that's come along that acted like that they were sincere about helping our people, and they weren't. The motive was to get to me. And so for that cause, because of what I've taught to you all, with it's being in the mind first, that if you know that you are what they call an empath, women, and there are some men that out there that are too, you all be careful. You can wind up marrying your worst enemy. You can wind up marrying that person that is set in motion to, even though some good things may come out of it, it can wind up altering your purpose in life. And not everybody is able to bounce back from that. I have a bounce back that has been given to me DNA wise and spiritually, that my brain that just doesn't allow defeat in that way. It just does it. And even time, and I will admit, there's been times that even when I felt like just throwing in a towel, I got you all, and I have others that's around me say, "Oh no, you can't quit. Oh no, 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 no. We need you." And so when you have that type of support system, and then when you put your support system at bay because you're thinking that you had this false protection, um, Now they take their job more serious about protecting their their brothers and their sisters, because it's not just me. They do it for everybody that's part of their community. And so my I don't know if I was supposed to apologize, because I don't know what's been said. I just know I had to address that because that was placed out here on Facebook. I guess that was Facebook. That person felt like they got threatened for reaching out to me at a time, and I guess they felt like something that was stated was inappropriate. And so yeah, so that I had to address that. So hey, even with that, you all, we have to be motivated. If you know that you didn't do nothing wrong, brother, then that means that you continue on, and as long as you're respectful, and as long as they don't feel like you're doing anything that is inappropriate, then you have nothing to worry about. What I do want to do is just thank God that I didn't have to get that phone call that you've been mangled up, or that you had to get dealt with. That's what I'm thankful for. Okay. And so yeah, y'all, it's just that serious here. You know, I vowed that I'm a firm believer that if you want to be one that practice sanity, then you don't do the same thing expecting different results. That you have to change up how you do things in order to be able to get different results. And so since I've had so many that's always hollering, I need your help. I want your help. I need you to do this. I need you to do it. I want to help you be what you need to be. And then it turns out to be something else more toxic. I've had a few, just a few, that were brave enough, and some would say crazy enough, to do that. And I allowed them into my circle and in my entire life. And my brothers, when I say my brothers, I mean my God brothers, my spiritual brothers, brothers from the organization, different ones, they're saying, not Dr. Chef, not Felicia Ann here. We're not going to sit back anymore and watch anybody else try to take advantage of her, because she's not a woman to be played with, and she's not one that deserves to be treated like she's not valued. And so that's where I'm at, y'all, today. And that's why you all hear me saying on the last segment that I appreciate my brothers from coming out to help me and to support me in the move and things that I had to do. So you all don't have to worry about me now. Sisters, I know y'all different ones that's been praying for me now, sending y'all shout outs. But yes, I do have that protection. All praises be to God for that, that I need. But I promise you, if you do act out, I promise you that if you get yourself together and you correct yourself, you ain't got to worry about nobody coming. No, you ain't got to worry about no bodyguards. That's what I got to say on that. You don't have to worry about that. Oh boy, my brothers, they don't be playing. They sending in text now because they want to know. Oh God, y'all. This is most definitely motivational Monday. They not playing on it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's just like that, y'all. Yeah. It's like that. And so, and that's what I have to do. I have to scan everything now. In order to keep myself in a position. I hold myself accountable for any decisions that I make before the year of 2024. I myself have counselors and those who I confide in that are much more wiser than I am in the areas that I may be distracted in, because this health and wellness thing is a very serious thing. And so, because I have experienced, like I said, those that have come to me within the past few years and trying to finagle, trying to figure out ways of how they're going to get to me, or how they can get me to work with them. And then they just turn around. I mean, it just turned out to be anacondas. They just turned out to be snakes. And so I said, okay, I let it go. And that's what I mean by, if you just don't know something, then you don't know it. Or if you're not paying attention to it, then each one teach one. I allow myself to be taught to you all. I see myself as a student of life. I don't see myself as mastering anything yet. I just may have more knowledge because of this area, working with my people in health and wellness, and I'm still learning things new every day myself. And when I do, I just understand that it's my responsibility, or I feel the conviction to share that with you all. And then you have to size up whether or not you can utilize this somewhere in your life and that this will be good for you. But I can't make or tell you that everything that I learned to be true would 100% apply to you. But it may be somebody that you can like and share this to, that you think or believe that it may help them with. And so if it's a testimony to motivate and inspire, then most of us need that. But if it's something particularly about relationships, if it's something particularly about what's mentally ailing you, stressing you to the point to where you're not taking good, healthy care, or you just don't feel motivated enough to do it, then those areas, that's going to vary from person to person, okay? And then based off of your religion or your background and what your core belief system is, and plays a major factor as well. So this is the reason why you all often hear me say that I have to hold the leadership more accountable in my mind, because I'm operating in that more closer into that position as a leader than I am as somebody that's only following, because of this work that I've been doing for years and helping and ministering to our people in the wellness ministry. Okay. And so I'm saying that I have to have the same standard, and I've come across people that say that it's too high of a standard just to do common sense things. It should never be too high of a standard for you to talk to your mate in the right way. It should never be considered a high standard for you not to be stealing folks' money. And so that's not a high standard. That's a more than a reasonable service. That's just called being a decent human being. And so you think that to be a high standard, not to call people out their name when they're going through sicknesses and illnesses, and having them, if you deem them to have a mental issue, you deem that to be a high standard, then they're going to show you just how low of a standard you have for yourself. And so because I've had to deal with these type of things, I had to bring myself to a standard where I say, well, no, it doesn't matter you from East St. You ain't lived there in 20 and in almost 30 years, that you wasn't about that life. You just know that you have an inner strength. But even with having an inner strength, you still need a support system, whether you be single, and some people need it even as couples. But as women, we most definitely need it in a time like this, where you got sex trafficking going on. You got, and if whatever you teach and whatever you do can bring about haters and people that think that it's okay to try to interfere with the work that you do, it's only wise to have that support system. And so I realized, through me trying to protect others and trying to keep different ones at bay, that led me to almost a lamb to the slaughter myself. And so that's why I had to change that up. So even though, if you get a chance to, what I'm trying to share is that if you get a chance to speak to me outside of this platform or outside of work, and especially if you're the opposite sex, just know that you got to stay on your P's and your Q's. It can't sound like none whatsoever, like you just coming around to try to get with Dr. Chef, is what I'm saying. Can I break it down just like that? Can't. Because if that happens like that, and then they see it and they come to shut it down because they see it as a distraction. And yes, I have allowed that because of my soft heart that I have, and my need to want to help people with mental illnesses and problems and issues, whether it be male or female. So I allow them to intervene in the areas that I may be having too much of a heart in, meaning my heart may be operating in the foolish stage in that moment. Yeah, I said it, because somebody need to hear that. And so I allow them from a male perspective to call that out, because men know men. Women know women in most cases. And so, I don't give myself no accolades in that area. That's part of mental health and wellness too. We can't, it's one thing to sit here and talk about how we haven't failed marriages and relationships, but it's another thing to actually find the antidote and the problems to why you are having it. It's another thing to make sure that you are being that you are allowing those who are having that better experience, or that has been successful in their relationships, to allow them to teach you, and for you not to think that you got so much pride, and that if you was that holy and you actually going by the Bible and you doing everything according to the Bible, then you wouldn't have so many failed marriages in the first place. Yeah, I said it. If you reading your Bible and thumping out scriptures was the answer to everybody having a successful marriage or relationship or choosing the right mates, then I guess that means all of us will still be married now, wouldn't we? Nah, that means that you have to do whatever you choose to read. That means you have to abide by it in order for them, and because there's other factors that play a major part in there. You just can't just throw out scriptures and think that that's going to save your life. We see that, duh. That's why most people don't believe in it anymore. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. It has a lot of excellent, good advice and wisdom there that can be applied in our many different lives and lifestyles. But to think that when you failed at something, that's all you have to do because you got a title of a doctor or a minister or a bishop or a pastor or whatever your title is, sister, brother, another, whatever you got your title is, and you think that all you got to do is read something and not actually practice what you read that's supposed to be helpful, then they're going to show you that you have a mental problem. Yeah, you have something wrong. That you're not practicing what you read. You're not practicing. What is knowledge when you don't? What good is having knowledge? And they say that knowledge is power, meaning knowledge is helpful for you to control something if you don't apply it. See, we grow up in the era that because we get a little attention on these platforms, like share, that we actually think that just because we sound profound and so intelligent. I've been listening to lectures all my life. My God. I can't tell you how many documentaries and lectures. Oh, yes, I'm that geeky, boring sister that'll sit back. If I feel like it's something that's really helpful and free and feeding my brain, I will sit back and I will listen to lecture for 3 hours if I deem it and hear that it can be practically applied to us today. If I deem it to be helpful. But that does not, I learned that does not mean that just because somebody has learned a certain knowledge, enough truth, that means that they are applying it to their life. To read does not mean that you, notice in school, you have to, some of you all understand it. You have reading, you get scored for reading, and then reading comprehension. Just because you read something doesn't mean that you're comprehending it, right? Meaning doesn't mean that you fully understand it. Because if you understood that by being reading a certain particular instruction that this could cause you a life, that's why we often now you see people joking about what's on the prescription drugs packages, the way they say, wait a minute, may cause diarrhea, may cause headaches, may cause this. That's why you're seeing that being said, and it's so popular. It's true. May cause it. Why would you take something that's supposed to be that's been prescribed to you just because the doctor said that you need to take this, and here it is, you got a headache, and right here is in one of the side effects is that it may cause headaches. And so we say common sense and said, okay, this is not the drug. This is not the medication for me because I got a headache. Why would I take when I just read these side effects said that it's a chance that I might get a headache? And then they turn around and say, they tell you that this is not a cure. Hey, sis, it's good to see you. This is not a cure. And then you turn around and then they already told you already got 6 months to live, and then on the drug that they just gave you, it's sitting up there telling you, hey, may cause death. Well, okay, well, there you go. It's solved. That's why I said, then it's solved. Then you won't have to worry about no pain because you're going to be dead. Yeah, we just have to use some common sense that's not as common anymore, is what I'm learning. And what I've learned is that, unfortunately, some of us, when we have different belief systems, we come from certain quote unquote spiritual religious backgrounds. I've learned now I fully understand why they used to be called dumb Christians. I do. And that's not to throw no shade at any of the Christians. I just said I was born and raised. Everybody know that as a devout Christian. Strongly into the Pentecostal church, long skirts every day for almost 40 years of my life. So that means most of my life I've been in the Pentecostal church. And that turned into non-denomination, which still came derived from mostly Baptist and Pentecostal Church of God in Christ, okay? And so I might know a little bit of something about what I'm talking about. When you sit down, so I do consider myself blessed that I was able to come from out of that and try to learn from it. Let me say learn from it. that where our shortcomings are, and what we use to try to hide behind using practical sense. Common, which we say common is not common anymore. So when you apply these different scriptures about faith, and I got faith that God's gonna hear me. I got faith. That's good to have faith that God's gonna hear you. Hey, Tamika Roddy, it's good to see you. It's such a beautiful thing. You know, you still look the same way you did in grade school, right? That's a beautiful thing to see your schoolmates smile. That's beautiful. But yeah, and so I learned that this is why a lot of our people were dying. We're putting all this faith in the pastor. The preacher only said that they know the word. So I watch it when people say I'm just a preacher, because that's all I expect you to do. All you just told me is that you're just a talker. When you say I'm just a preacher goes along with the lines of teacher of the Bible. That didn't tell me that you practice what you preach. If you say that you minister, hey, they're beautiful. Then all you told me is that you do some type of work for the community or some type of work around, but that didn't tell me that you actually believe in what you're doing. I know the difference is what I'm saying. My mother did ministry for years and missionary work for years, and she didn't get paid for it. So you think that I don't know what that is? Now, did people have ceremonies and anniversary things for her? Yes. To show appreciation? Yes. Did people like to give her things and support her because they saw that she was a good woman? Yes. But that also means that I learned what it meant to do something from the heart and not just from the pocket. Am I saying that you should never get anything from the pocket? No. But it does tell you the measure of just how much you do based off. And people will lie and say I've seen it where they lie and say they're not doing it from the money, but yes, they are. They counting every dollar. Every time you tune in, this is the World Wide Web. You can tune into whatever you want to tune in. If you don't want nobody on there to see you, then you get off of it. If you don't want people's opinion, then block all your comments then. See, if you only want those who really truly support, then charge for people to subscribe. That shows you just how much so-called truth a person want to have out there if it's not about the money. And if you have a different opinion or a different thought or a different learning, different knowledge than what I have, that should not take nothing away from me. If you share it and it is correct or it's some truth to it, I will try it, buy it. Let your naysayer just make sure that whatever the naysayer is saying is not true about you, or that it's not something that you should be taking heed to perfecting yourself. I had some people say, okay, well, Dr. Chef, then at least do something. They said, put on your caption. I didn't get offended by that. I need to put my caption on. Oh, well, you had too much noise in the background. Cut the music down. I thought you were a Hebrew. I said the label that was given out was Christian Hebrew. What we mean when I was a part of that type of ministry, that was a label that was just given. I was not part of any Hebrew congregations or audiences or anything. None. I just know how to respect and know how to treat people, see people as people. Individuals as individuals as creations of God. And that's the full whole truth. And when you partner up with certain people and different ones, yes, you do have to learn how you still have to take charge of what it is that you want to be known for. And I'd rather be known for being one that teaches and inspire and minister to our people from more true universal place than to depict everybody apart based off of whatever learning that they have or teaching or belief system that they have. Because I can promise you, when you get sick, and if what I have can help you get well, I think the last thing that you're going to be asking me is whether or not I believe in Jesus or Muhammad. You're going to want whatever I have that's going to help heal you if you got any real common sense and you really want to live. I've used the example before. If your house is on fire and the firefighters come and you can tell that they all of different ethnic background, do you stop them and say, hold on, wait a minute, and you black, do you stop them and say, hold on, wait a minute, you can't come in here because you white? Or are you going to let that fireman with that water hose come in there and make sure that he take out that fire in your house? So I said, to a certain degree, we practice hypocrisy and don't even realize it. If your baby run out in the middle of the street and just so happen to get loose on your hand, or that grandbaby, whoever tuning in, run out in that street and you didn't see them, or they ride their bike out there and somebody come out there and see it before you and help save your baby, grab your baby, are you going to be worried about it whether or not it was a Mexican man or whether or not it was a black man? No, you're just going to be thankful that they saw your baby before you did and they saved your baby. Then it's okay then, right? You're not going to ask them, you know what, are you Catholic? Wait a minute, are you Catholic? Is that why you saved my baby? No, you're not going to say that. Wait a minute, you know what, are you Muslim? I see that bow tie. So I'm saying we got to know which battles to fight, y'all. And we got to know how we have to learn. This Motivational Monday, we have to learn how to move with what's true, with what's really helpful, with what's really, really does your body good, your mind, your body, and your whole soul. That's what I'm saying. Because anything else is for foolery. Anything else is a mere distraction. Anything else does not do your mind good. It will stop, it will demobilize you. Some trauma, I experienced enough. I admit I had experienced enough trauma, even with being one that could see things, but not wanting to see some of the things I saw. Just by not wanting to see it. And because I wanted to just focus on the good work that I had to do was enough to, I understood through my counseling, 20 plus, almost 30 years of counseling, that this was enough, because I've heard bits and pieces of stories of different ones that have gone through similar things and some worse. And I'm like, this is enough to demobilize my whole brain, to make me go, woo, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. That just shut it down. But all praises be to God. I had my elders, brothers, and sisters that was not experiencing that at this time. And I had to practice what I teach. And that was not to practice insanity by doing the same thing and expecting different results than what I had already had counseled others in. And that is that if you are experiencing traumatizing things that come to press your mind to cause mental distress while you're doing a good work, while you're doing your best to do it, and you're finding out that you've been lied on, that you've been cheated on, that you've been talked about, that you've been mistreated, that I would reach out for help. I would not allow pride to make me fall this time, or to leave me in a state of anger, or to become this mad black woman that, you know, they had the diary of the mad black woman. And so I said, now what is it that I'm supposed to do in these constant events that's constantly arising at a time when I still have not even mourned my mother's passing that well? What do I do with this kind of up close and personal distraction? What do I do when I have all this information that some call knowledge that can help heal somebody, mind, body, and spirit, but yet they will not practice what they teach, or they will not use it as help, but they'll use it as, but they rather have you as an enabler because it feels good as long as the flesh is being fed, as long as you can keep up the delusion, as long as you can keep up with the lies. What do? And all I could hear the mind say is practice what you teach. Get some help. Seek some real wisdom and godly counsel. And so I said, all right, that makes common sense to do. So I did that. I didn't go around worried about who all believed in whether or not they ate fruits or vegetables or not. I understood that there are some that are more wiser concerning relationships than I am. Just as you all may do it and have done it in your life. So when I say what we are supposed to do as influencers or ministers and leaders, that's the same. I'm speaking of myself as well. Or else I could not come before you all and share nothing and motivate anything. Now, there are some that can do it because they're just good at talking. And they're good at just expressing themselves. I'm good at that too most times. But you cannot fake real, true sincerity and truth from the heart. You can't really fake that. Even though we got some good actors out here today. Got some real good actors out here today. We got some that the moment they shut this stream down, they get ready to laugh off and talk about everybody that was on the stream. We got some that's like that. What the first thing they're gonna do is look at these Negroes, da 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 da. See, I can't do that. Let me hurry up and see how much money that they gave me. If they ain't give me that money, then I already know. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm gonna shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this down short. Yeah, but they gave more than Michael Jordan yesterday. Michael Jordan been a businessman for a long time now. I don't expect to make more money than Michael Jordan. I know most people care more about their tennis shoes than they do about mental health and wellness. That is not a battle of minds. You got to know your place. You got to know what's good for you, what works for you. Trying to compare our lives to other people is another thing that I've learned that does not work well for us. But yet, because of this media and because of the television that's programmed our minds to believe that your life can be just like somebody else, is causing mental dysfunctions. It's causing depression in people's minds because it's feeding into a fantasy, kind of like how soap operas used to do. I was just talking to somebody about that where I said I could never do soap operas because I'm like, I could tell that this is for a different class of people. They acting, and this don't happen in the real world. This is what? And I was seeing that just as a toddler walking past the TV and seeing it. When I was a toddler, but when the Younger wrestlers used to come on. And I just remember the sound of the music. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, that's Little House on Prairie. Going to show you how I look. That's how you know I wasn't watching it. But I just remember seeing the symbol come on. And now my mother wouldn't be sitting there watching it either. It was just I would see it going by. Did you see this? Is a song. And we feed into this fantasy, this fantasy world. But because my family was really into music and musically inclined, we knew every song of every sitcom that would come on. So if facts of life, we take the good, we take the bad, we take the morning, there we have the facts of life. You said the facts of life. And all of a sudden you start watching this little bitty chubby little white girl and Tootie up on there doing that, and you're thinking, and then you don't even realize you're not homeless. Your mother has not put you in no girls' shelter. Why are you relating to this? Why are you wishing that you had braces like Tootie? And this is where the programming starts, y'all. But it always starts with a theme song. If y'all never noticed it, because music surpasses the subconscious mind. This is the reason why even when you go to church, you hear people say, "Oh, I'm just going to church to hear the choir." Because the choir, yeah, they get me singing good. They're going to sing that song. You must be, you got to be, you must be, you got to be born again. Well, they ain't singing that now. Now they singing a whole nother different song, but it ain't got nothing to do with you must be, you got to be. It's some type of Kirk Franklin song or some type of song where you can lean with it, rock with it. Or sometimes it just make you want to stomp. It's a different vibe, a different energy, a different takeover of the mind and of the spirit. And so when you are living with that, and when you are in relationships with people, we have to get to a place to where you dig deep into that spirit of God that's in you. Some call it the Holy Spirit. Some call it the Ruach. You call it what you will, but I know one thing: you better call up on it. And you got to get something. You have to be motivated to move on that you see that's trying to move you into a negative position, into a negative place in your mind and in your spirit that could cause you to lose your mind. Anytime you are doing a great work or doing something good, and then the adversary comes in and bring whoever is close to you to challenge you, to see if you're going to stick to your truth, to stick to that is good for your soul, then now you have a major decision to make in your life. And now it's born down to your health and wellness. And yeah, you got some people are saying now that, yeah, if it's your mate, then you have to then you may want to reconsider your mate. When the truth is that it's just like that job. It's amazing to me how we are quick, and I can personally say this to myself. I'm not going to practice hypocrisy here with you all. That it's something how we can say that concerning our mates if they get too big or too heavy for us and we don't want them. And now they may be good in many other areas, but because of now you saw something that looked more, as they call fine, or something that looked more sexier. Now you're saying that the big woman ain't good enough for you, or that big man ain't good enough for you. But then that job or that business, you have to deal with all different type of issues with that, and clientele and other business partners trying to get over you. But because you done experience getting that money, you don't hear people say, you know what, I'm gonna stop this business. As soon as you see that ching or that $1,000 come through, like, you know what, it's not that bad after all. But we don't do that with relationships. Something go wrong in that relationship too many times. Then the first thing we do is say that man that you gave me, that woman that you gave me, instead of trying to work on, if you having financial issues, then that means you need a good financial advisor. If you're having marital problems, then that means you need a good marriage counselor. If you're having poor health issues and problems, then that means you need a good health care provider. That makes sense? If you're having problems with your car, then that means you need a better mechanic. You don't just throw away everything just because that it has a problem. Everything that's been made here has a problem. We live in a very toxic environment. However, if that car can get you to where you're going, and you have had the mechanics, all the best of the mechanics, to try to fix on that on that car, and that car still won't act right, it's time to get rid of the car and get a new one. If you have marital issues, and you got all of the best of the counselors that you can think of that's talking all of the world is common sense and good sense, and it's telling you that this is going to mess up your whole life and your family, and this is going to be a stain that will not be removed from you, and they all saying the same thing, that you need to practice what you teach and preach and what you do, and need to treat your mate right, and you still won't act right, you gonna lose you finna get a divorce. If you got financial issues, and no matter how much money you can make, And you got all these financial advisors saying, okay, we see you able to pull in $1 million, but problem is that you're spending out too much. And the problem is you need to invest. The problem is you need to save. The problem is you need to do this, this, and else. Or else you just going to be a money making machine, but you ain't going to have nothing to fall back on. And you don't do that, and then that rainy day come. That another pandemic come. I'm sorry, but you're finna be broken. You're going to wind up being a bum on the street. At some point, that's what's going to happen. Because you learned how to make it, but you didn't learn how to keep it flowing. And so then this is applied in every important aspect of life, you all. And that's what I mean by this is why I had to not allow myself to be so a part of ministry and church to the point to where I lost my God-given common sense. Because even though there are different leaders that's more intuitive with knowing how to apply certain practical things in the from a biblical standpoint that will help you in life. But then there are many others that do not know how to do that. But that's up to you as the so-called follower, as the so-called member of the body of Christ, to know how to discern that, the difference in that. Or as I posted on my Facebook, the one Pastor Murphy that had put out there that you got to know that spirit. And I wasn't going to post it first, but then when I said, some said, listen to him a little further. And he went on to talk and say, he said, see, the issue is that some of y'all know how to identify the spirit, but then the moment it shows up with a different kind of face, a different type of voice, a different type of presentation, then you fall for it anyway. Again, I could relate to that because I experienced that. I said, wow. I said, so you all need to learn how to not just know the different spirits that's coming to distract you, that's coming to destroy you, but you got to know it even when the face change, even when the voice is different. You got to know it in all different shades that it come in. I said, now, wow, now that's yeah, you got a good point there. The first one may have came and showed up broke, busted, and disgusted and can't be trusted. But the next one may show up as I got money, I look good, and I smell good, and I know how to talk to you and all these good sweet nothings. And the other one may come in, I'm sick, I need your help, and I need and you're the only hope that I got. And I know that you're a good woman, you're a good man, and I cannot live without you. See, they come in all different kinds of, and you got to know. Try, as they like to call it, we call it try the spirit by that spirit. Not by your spirit, but by that spirit, the signs of what you can call manipulation. Because at the end of the day, there is to every positive, there is a negative that comes to not, it can empower you. But my goodness, when you get shocked, it doesn't necessarily mean that but I guarantee you learned the lesson not to inject something when it's water around anymore. You won't do that again because you felt that. That's how it is when we're making major life decisions, and we can't make it as well when we are sick or when we're in mourning. And that's what I was shown, that while in mourning and while trying to collect my dad's ashes, then there was a presentation of another strong Black man that was entering my life, that was practicing some of the things that my father practiced, that was experiencing some of the same things that my father would do. And he said, okay, see, you didn't recognize this energy and the spirit that came in the like image of your dad. You heard the voice that sound and commanded like your daddy, but you didn't pay attention enough to the spirit of it. You were too in tune as a singer, as a musician. You was being too in tune to the sound. And that's why I shared before what I was told when it came to me and said, okay, you got to go through this test. And now you got to go through this lesson called life because you listened to another voice over my voice. And all praises be to God, all thanks be to God that I'm still here to speak with my own, to share that testimony with you all without having to throw nobody underneath the bus. but in much hopeful and prayer that my testimony will help you all to think about that in whatever area that may apply to in your life, so that you can have the strength and the courage and the wisdom, or seek it at least, to help you all to make better decisions for your mind, your body, and your own soul. You go. Good evening. This is like, well, I pray that helped you all. You all, I've been in here for a little bit now. Y'all are, hey, I got my god brother Jermaine Petway in the house. Hey there, Jermaine. Send my love to the family and them children, and to my godparents. That's not just your mom and your daddy, that's mine too. Bishop Albert Lee Petway and Sister Prophetess Petway. You all want to know where I learned how to play drums and classical music. It was my, those of y'all not on Facebook, Jermaine Petway. Aren't you playing now, Jermaine, if you're able to, if you're not driving? Aren't you some type of musician or producer too now? I'm just glad to see y'all. And I sing Paula too. I'm doing her voice. She's a powerhouse. She reminds me, she's a combination of you of the parents of Bishop Petway and of Sister Petway. Most definitely a powerhouse. That's just a blessing to see you all. And so this is what I was just sharing with somebody else that today, that brings me to that. Even with that, I had an invite to play the Congos at the event, and I've done it. You all know I posted. I played at the church a few times. It just came, opportunity just came, and I did. And then I did it again at a karaoke thing that we had for the organization that I was part of. And they're gonna do it again. But then the brothers started sharing with me the energy and the spirit of, they were going to get paid for it, and he was sharing with me how they didn't pay him nothing, even though the rest of the ones that wasn't even doing as much that he was doing got paid. And I said, huh? And they started sharing to me, the different energies that just wasn't right. And I said, and he did. He said, well, sister, I would love for you to come and play. And I was like, brother, I said, music is powerful. The sound of music is powerful. There is a healing. It was originally created, the scriptures say that it can soothe the savage beast. Certain keys and tones can soothe the savage beast. But it was also meant to be healing for us. But because of the many teachings that we have received about giving Lucifer the credit for being the angel that was that had the most beautiful voice and the sound of music, that overshadowed and made us see music as a more negative thing. And I mean this for most of our Christian brothers and sisters. At least that is what was placed in our mind, even though we still had choir, and there was a fixation of let's only sing songs to the glory of God. That still made us cast out any other sounds of music that could just classical music, orchestras, jazz, different things in certain keys that were still, that is when we had real music and not music, sick, when they were playing on the original instruments. May I say that? Not on this other shade of tones that are coming with very, very low vibrations. That is what we are fighting against now. And then when you add negative lyrics to it, that goes beyond the subconscious minds. The studies have already been shown, and you really don't have to go by the study. You can kind of tell that on your own. And that's why y'all see me post a few times when I get hype and I'm getting my shipment going, and I gotta get that energy. Y'all gonna hear me mind over money over mind. I'm getting it. Because it's giving me hype, it's giving me energy. And the bass, it does something. I'm getting real hype off of it. Now, that's not a bad thing. But if I chose to put in the toxic murder rap, and I've changed to my station to hear a little bit of it, not to indulge in it, but to actually hear it and say, I'm like, oh my God. And I can see, prime example, DMX. For those of y'all that want to act like y'all, he's gone on now, but he too and try to give his life what we call to the Lord. And song, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me act a fool up in here. And then the music, da-da, 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 da-da. That get an energy out of this world, and you can't say. I don't care if you was raised to be a monk. I don't even think a monk could not be distracted by that. Just hearing it, da-da, 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 and he's coming with that. You literally would have to be numb, not for that to not cause some type of distress or some type of. And my goodness, if you just had the worstest day of your life on your job, or somebody just disrespected you, you're going to start. You put that in the hands of a violent natured person, or somebody that's on narcotics and dealing with a chemical imbalancement. And they got that bumping. Up in here, y'all gonna make me act a fool. Up in here, up. And then they get road rage. Somebody go cut them off. Well, you know what? They're acting that out. That's the power of music. But it's the kind of so-called music. I would classify that as a music. Because as we know, he was battling with a drug addiction. He was battling with spiritual issues and mental problems. Had to my understanding because of the power of that man's voice and the energy, I like to do my homework. What made this young man want to get to this place to where they could just use him and he just barking? He doing all this barking all over the place. I say, what? In our mind, as you see me describing this, for those of you already know it, you know yourself, there's something that's unnatural about this. And then how does this turn into him going into music or any form of it for that fact? And then the next years later, before his death, you see him giving an interview talking about the industry and what it has done to him. And all these many children that he got all over the place that he couldn't leave nothing to because it messed with him so much psychologically so. But at the same time, how it's so-called saved him from the street as well. So music, you all, I don't dismiss it in its home, because it's just, once again, you do your homework, and right now you can go and Google music that's soothing for the mind, music for stress disorder, music that heals you, music that has the vibration of 438 for love. And it's a completely different experience. So no, I will not do away with music just because I've been taught to give more credit to Satan being the author of music. And because what I see the industry doing. Remember what I said already. Anytime something becomes an industry, it's about it becomes more about money and power and manipulation. So at that point, that's not my place. I'm in the ministry and the industry of health and wellness. So that means my job is to be watching out for anything that seems like it's unfair and unjust, or that's not good business, and that is manipulative when it comes down to the healing ministry part of it, that can cause a mental confusion among our people. So I come in to bridge that gap, to make sure that our people fully understand how to separate the two. And when one is overriding the other, I come in to bring the balance here. What's reasonable and what's not reasonable. What's right and what's not right. What's true and what's more true and what's more of a lie. And when you are operating in that type of position, like so many others are trying to in their own way, you're going to be faced with oppositions. But I say the main important thing, I've found that most of the time the opposition is because they want to lean more to the industry and not the ministry. Something about that tree, huh? So when you want more of the industry, then you want more of the ministry, and then you say that I only want more of the ministry, and I don't care about the industry, then that means it won't be no worry about money. Is that right? Now? If you want more of the ministry and your focus is more of the ministry, then you won't be as concerned about the industry because you're more concerned about the how it's helping us, and you won't be so concerned about the money. You ask, it says, ask and you shall receive. But if you ask and you shall not receive, it didn't give you the permission to get angry about it, because now that's you operate more in the industry than the ministry. If you want people to respect you more for the industry, then that means you're working more for the business part of it, not for the ministry part of it. And yes, there are some ministries that will pay you for the work that we do, but there are some that will not, because they don't deem it as important enough to pay you for it. And if that be the case, then that's the areas, and then that means you should not be participating in that, because you say you need both. This is your lifestyle. And then that is going to vary. It's what I had to learn for myself. What's reasonable when you say my lifestyle? Do that mean that I have to have a dress that's made out of material that's not even real material? Do that mean that I have to have $1,000 dress just because I'm teaching you about health and wellness? No. Does that mean that I have to ride on a private plane just because I'm flying to your place for you to take out your time to hear me teach about something that you can read about, that you need to pay me an extra $500? No. Does that mean that because I want to be able to eat a $200 or $300 meal every day, when all I need is a $20 meal or a $10 one to get everything that I need in me? Did you get the drift? That's what I found out that's more frustrating. That's where a lot of the frustration is coming into play. People are intertwining, and I had my elder to share that with me. Matter of fact, happy belated birthday to Bishop Jonathan Franklin, because he's the one that made me to understand that he said I'm very particular about making sure that I don't mix business with the ministry. All that's separate. My wife handles all of that for the members and everybody need, and the business is completely separate. Now, not many people are doing that. He's in the ministry for years, longer than I've been alive, practically, and married for a very long time with all his children, by one wife and one children. Since we want to talk about who's what we're capable of doing here in America and what we're not, everything else is a cop out. You can be married for a long time with one wife and children here in America. It's about your spirit. It's about what it is that you're doing and what you're not doing and applying. It doesn't matter what country we go off to and what country. We got many toxic people that's not even eating healthy, that don't go to no church, that's still married and together, and that have all their children. Come on now, y'all. I can say it now. I've been divorced, so I'm not bashing you all, but it does not make that not the truth. Well, oh yeah, but there's more people that's accepted. There's more because they from there. Now what? Whatever you've been practicing and teaching since you were younger, and your marriage is not going to be the same as it is to somebody else's. Stop that. You're not marrying the same person. And your reasoning is not even the same. So you can't get the same result. And if your heart ain't in it and in the right place in the first kid, then you had to lie in order to get that mate in the first kid, then your lie is going to find you out, and that's going to cause you to lose your marriage too. Just like if you go and you lie to me, what did I tell y'all? Every time I call in for a health consultation, I said, the more honest you are with me about what it is that you're putting in your system, the more it gives me the chance to be able to best diagnose you or be able to tell what's ailing you based off of how honest you are being with me about what you are taking into your system that could be causing you to be sick. But what do I get to before, for some of you all that are tuned in and doesn't got consultation, I don't go in right away just talking, focusing on what you ate yesterday, more so than what's ailing you mentally. What kind of stresses are you going through? And I hear you out first. And then we may break down what mom and daddy and what type of mental stress disorders that you have first, because I've learned that if you don't get down to that, then you want, it's 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be as successful in any of the other important areas of your life, because you're not happy with yourself. You never healed from your childhood trauma. You never healed from that first relationship, the first heartbreak. You never healed from the job rejecting you or not treating you right or giving you that so-called race. It can be different things from different people. Your body never fully detoxed from being hooked on drugs for 20, 30 years. It's so many different avenues that we have to get down to before I could get you on a regimen that would that you would more likely have a better chance, listen to my words, that you would more likely have a better chance of being successful in your health and wellness journey when you are honest with me. It is the same in a relationship. It is the same when you're going to take your car to get fixed and you only tell the mechanic that I just need my brakes are pumping, and you don't hear, tell them that you hear a tick tick sounding and they don't test drive it. Then you finna ride up out of there with some brake fix, but your transmission is about to go out, because you weren't honest enough to tell them that there is a tick tick sound that you hear from time to time. That means that you need either a tune up or a new oil change before, and that your mileage is already high. You know, meaning you know already done rent the car down. Now that mechanic needs to know what all the problems that you have. Because unfortunately, it doesn't, when you put it on a diagnostic machine, it doesn't always pick up everything. It only picks up a few things. For those of you who don't know anything about mechanic cars, and the only reason why I know is because my daddy and my uncles were mechanics. And I paid attention. And I've gone through my first share of cars. So now I'm in my truck. Man, I'm like, hey, I'm watching that oil change. I'm watching that oil hand. I'm like, okay, I'm down to 1,000 miles. All right, every time down to 800 miles. I got 800 every week. I'm down to 200. It's time for an oil change. That's how you got to treat your body. You know what? I was feeling good today, but I'm feeling really sluggish today. I ain't came out of that sluggishness today. I think I need to get me some tea, some decaffeinated tea with maybe with a little honey. You know what? I didn't eat no berries today. Maybe I need to get some berries because I'm not getting a good bowel movement and my energy level is low. Oh, you know what? I may need to take a little B12 too, because I know I got a long work day today and I need to stay up. I don't need to be tired too soon. That's how you got to check out, marriage. You know what? I know I disrespected my mate today, and I made her feel like she wasn't nothing because I didn't make the money that I wanted to make that day. So I need to bring her some flowers, and I need to apologize, and I need to tell her how beautiful she is today. Keep letting that go by and keep ragging on your wife and see that it's going to be true. Happy wife, happy life. It's gonna be true that you do this to her every time you come through the door. The baby, the kids been acting up. They've been doing this and he don't get a chance to take a break and see how long that lasts before he not coming at home at all, because you're not giving him no type of break to come down off of from fighting and battling with the world all day long. Can't come home and rest at all because you talking about what you hadn't done. I'm done at home, or how I just went to work too today, and I need a break too. Then that means somebody need to hire a babysitter. It's time to call TT up. Both of y'all need a break. Not just one person needs to be taking all the breaks. But when you in a selfish relationship, that's what'll happen. One person will be taking a break for injury and cause and effect, and for not practicing what they teach, and causing the family to have to suffer for them not having enough self-love and respect for themselves. And then when it's time for the other mate to have to need a little break, they can't get none. I know what I'm talking about, y'all. And then you wonder why come they don't chase after you or give you a second or a third chance, because you done just showed them that you don't care about nobody, nor and neither do you care for yourself. And they the blind lead the blind, they all gonna fall into a ditch. That's why it's very seldom that if another may get hooked on drugs to the point to where they lose their mind, it's not likely that they'll wind up being able to have a successful relationship, because the chemicals and the drug imbalancement cause that mate to either to become physically, mentally, or abusive to that other mate, and along with then that same thing to themselves, meaning they're out of control. It's too toxic at that point. Well, these things happen spiritually too. You got a different belief system. You changing your belief system every time you look up, because you're trying to see which one benefits you more. And to hell with the family, excuse my French. Oh, you know what? I got a goal. I want to make $1 billion. And I can't make $1 billion if I'm giving you your part. And if I'm taking care of these kids. So I might as well just throw everybody away. So that way I can just make the money for myself. And then I go over and I start a whole another new family, thinking that you're not going to have to pay for that too, one way or the other. All these different mental dysfunctions come, and I boiled it down to, yes, trauma, unresolved, unhealed, no therapy, no counseling, trauma. And then I boiled down to you're not respecting and loving the temple that God gave you enough to find out how it operates, what it needs, like you do your car. And if you don't keep up your car, or you don't maintain your bus pass, or you don't make sure that you're working or putting aside the money to get to where you're going, then that's going to apply to how you get to where you're going in life, period. You ain't going to get there. And if you get there off of the backs of others by not showing enough appreciation or respect, because there's an order to this thing, y'all, then it's only a matter of time before your respect that people have for you, because of the fake false image that you done presented to people, before somebody that you left behind wind up stripping you down, because you did it out of pure hypocrisy. It's called the laws of nature, y'all. It just happens like that because you planted too many bad seeds. You did too many wrong things that you did not correct. And apologies don't correct certain bad seeds. You can't go and plant a toxic seed or a poisonous flower or herb by a good, healthy, flourishing herb, and knowing that it's going to kill off those weeds are going to smother and suffocate the other good fruit or the good vegetation, and then say, you know what, I'm sorry. No, you got to go pluck that up. You got to go whack them weeds out. And what we do as so-called Christians, how I was raised, the first thing they do when somebody done harmed or offended their brothers and sisters, or ain't done right by their mates, or haven't done right by their bodies and done gotten sick, then what usually happens is that we'll try to throw a scripture out there. Well, you know, the Bible said that we got to separate that he'll separate the wheat from the tare. No, what needs to happen is that counseling, therapy, that person needs to be able to be reprogrammed, have a renewing of the minds. And if it turns out that person is rejecting that, it ain't no different from somebody that has a spirit of alcoholism that we call have a drunken spirit. Then they constantly going to AA, but they constantly going back on that bottle because they so addicted. Some of them ain't gonna never be. They're gonna die, and eventually the liver is going to give out. It ain't no different. And a person's mind is that narcissistic and that self-righteous and that selfish and that manipulating, then it's only a matter of time before they lose their mind. If that person that's addicted to that food and all those toxic meats and all the different type of artificial refined sugars, and it's only a matter of time before that diabetes and that high blood pressure catches up with their heart or their kidneys, and it's going to start functioning in the lower functioning until the kidneys give way, or either they have a heart attack. See how they all intertwine with each other? I didn't have to put the so-called relationship in there, because then automatically that equals that somebody's not taking care of all those other things, then and that person dies off, then there you go. You just made somebody a widow or widower. So you lose everything. So as they say, you got to do it right from the beginning. You got to do it right from the foundation. Yes, you do. It may not catch up with you now, like we used to do. We can go outside and run with our shoes off and feet and stuff like that, and we thought we was good, right? Well, time has changed. Now it's more chemicals in the ground now, and your feet carries the most pores in it that absorb into the bloodstream, and you sit there and you running on all that Roundup and all those sprays and pesticides, and you don't realize it. Now you let the kids run out there and put their feet in there, and then my God, if that grass is a little wet or they get a little sweaty, and now you wonder why come they sick and why they got this blood disease, and why is it now that they talking about my baby got to have a blood transfusion, but he's so young, or why he got cancer, and you didn't realize it's because you let them run loose outside, because where the lawn is being treated with all of this Roundup and all these other different chemical pesticides, killing things that's killing off the weeds, but it's also killing off the ground and causing toxicity inside of the surface of that dirt. And your baby is laying their feet right there in, and they're playing in it. They making dirt muzzle, and they got, and all that's coming into their bloodstream. And then you're wondering why, how is it that they're so young getting cancer now? That's one way. But if you knew that now I need to redo my grass now, if you knew now that, you know what, no, I'm not finna that. I'm going to use some dye to make the earth. I mentioned that the last time. I'm going to use some natural things so it's not killing off the insects, so it's not killing off the bees, so it's not killing off the birds, so it's not killing off my child, so it's not causing me cancer. Then you will redo your whole garden. You will go ahead and pay that extra money to have somebody to landscape and to do it more of the natural way, because you got enough with the toxicity that's in the air. Then your kids can play real safe, more safer than before. And you have to worry about all these toxic things. But once again, you take care of the foundation of things, then things can grow up and you can flourish in life. Those children can grow up more healthier if you're not giving them candy, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or every time they cry, you got to give them a little diabetes cake, little Debbie, you all. Or every time you look up, they got to have some type of popsicle that's going to cause other type of mental disorders. And you are wondering why that baby running around acting what we call crazy. I don't know what's wrong with him. He just going. And we find that stuff funny, but it ain't funny. The baby is losing it, and you don't even realize why, because you just gave him that toxic number yellow 4 and 5 and green yellow and 2 and 3 and 6 in there, and not realizing that that number one chemical or that chemical in there is set to attack the cells in the brains that cause memory loss, that causes actually on the aspartame and MSG in it is set to cause overreactive cells and mental dysfunctions, all in one sucker. And you giving this to them on the regular, and also sending them to school and allowing the teacher to give it to them too. And then they come back home, you wonder why they don't got no appetite to eat no real food. And then if they're not eating real food, you throwing them in a TV dinner. Look at the term of that, which is not real food. No nourishment for the baby at all. Once again, you get the foundation right. Then you don't have to. We don't have to worry about our children being that sick and dying too soon. Yeah, I said it. What did I say? I said if I had followed my first mind and didn't take my baby there and had my baby at home, then I wouldn't have to worry about no nurse trying to push her back up in me and cause her to lose no oxygen. If I had to stay there at the doctor, no matter if I did have to battle with my husband at the time, if I had went ahead and chose that right battle and didn't let nobody talk me into getting her that shot, then I wouldn't have to worry about them overly injecting her with immunization, nothing, and her coming out with no type of epilepsy or no type of disorder. But my first mind told me, without the information that I have now, said, something ain't right about this. Don't do it. So I'm using my testimony again, you all, to tell you all, you don't got to experience this. You don't have to take yourself through this. And those of you all that have grandbabies on the way, and other young women that want to have children, like my girls, I have 19, going to be 20 and 20 and 23-year-old. If they have children, they don't have to go through that because mama already gone through it for them. And I'm teaching it to them. No, if that baby head is finna crown, let it. That means push. It will be still around their neck. That's why I'm getting ready to take doula classes and courses. So I'm ready for when my girls, if they decide that they want to get, and they get married and they decide that they want to have a baby, grandmama, if God sees fit, grandmama gonna be right there to deliver that baby. Right there to deliver that baby. I ain't got to worry about that. See, so that's what that inspired me to do. After going through what I went through with all four, trying to have all my 4 children in the house, pitiful. She said, yeah, she gonna have her own grandbabies. The first one, I was able to be there with them too, and tell her, don't let them, don't let them inject him. Don't let, And you see, he's smart as a whip. This is just a little old man nature in him. I get on that FaceTime with that boy, and the boy having the figure. You think that they told him that we're going to have a party? He's so happy. And so I'm saying this to you all. This is how you can't separate none of it, right? And we can't be constantly putting this on what the state of America is in. No, what is your state of mind? That's the most important part. What is your state in your mind? What are you constantly stating in your mind? Before we can focus on another state and another country, you know what I'm saying? Your mind. Let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. What does that mean? A pure mind, a loving mind, a disciplined mind, a healing mind, treat your brother and your sister right mind. Treat your wife as God treats the church mind. See how that works? That's how you know when you have the love of God in you. Because you're going to be minding your own business. You're going to be minding your own family. You're going to be minding your own community. You're going to be minding God's business. And it's not going to be in disarray. It's not going to be this where you can only make it look good on the social media screen. Because see, anybody can critique this. I'm learning that. I'm sitting back watching y'all. I ain't mastered all of it yet, but I'm sitting there watching how they can just create all different type of afterbold illusions on the social media, make everything look beautiful. That's how you see, even when they have sisters and brothers that don't have pretty good features, and they put that makeup on and they make them look like a whole model, like a little doll, and then they take it off, and you like, yeah, okay. Strong illusion. Strong illusion, y'all. And that wolf got to be taken off their eyes. I'm one that like to help people to have more clear vision, like I did my daughter when the doctor said that she couldn't see. Or be able to see out of their peripheral when the doctor said, you know what, that muscle said you're not supposed to see nothing, but I can see though, y'all. You gotta take these matters into your own hands. Y'all, I know I went in, I gave it to y'all. Just know I love you all. Like, share. I pray this helped some of you all. Went on longer than what I normally do, but it was worth it. Pray for those for us that's in this cold weather, that everybody make it to their several destinations as safely, and that everybody stay warm that's out in the cold. And those of you all that's enjoying your nice weather, then that's good. I don't have a jealous bone in my body about it. I just want you all that just means that you should be taking better care of yourself then, and enjoying the cool breeze and whatever good weather that you're having. That's a good thing. That may be just what you need. But for those of us that's here in the temperature of icebox, we gonna stay warm, okay? No excuse, y'all. Don't be using Don't be using this cold weather to my, yeah, I gotta go get me my old a good old hot pizza. I'm gonna go give me some chicken noodle soup. Go get your vegetable soup. Get that. Okay. All right. Love you all. You all take care of yourself. You said some ramen noodles will do it too. Oh, don't please don't start with the ramen noodles. Oh Lord, don't do that to me, sister. Not the plastic noodles. They name it the right Roman. Look at and that ain't right. Need to stay to the room. Need to stay room. Sister YouTube. No, yeah, don't do that to us, y'all. Don't do that to it. Don't fall for the Roman noodles. You know they have the healthier versions of them out now without the MSG. The ones with the organic wheat for those who can take that wheat, and they have some that's made out of bamboo. Some that's made out of the rice. They got some that, yeah, they got different kinds now that the digestive system actually can digest. I'm just speaking from a digestive standpoint for those of y'all that were hooked on that. So you know not to do that to me, Sister Diane, because you know I'm gonna have an alternative with. So no excuses for those of y'all that's falling for that MSG package of that seasoning, because y'all know good well you wouldn't be trying to slurp up on nothing that look like no worms if it didn't have no seasoning. So get your all natural herbs and get your little zest of lemon. And if y'all like spice, and get your red pepper for those of y'all that can take that and spice you up some that's made out of natural resources, not out of this plastic, the ones that's in that little dollar bag. Don't do that to y'all guts. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it for the cold. Say, I ain't gonna do it. Don't do it for the cold. I ain't gonna do it. I love y'all. You all take care of yourself and have a blessed day. Y'all stay warm. Those y'all calling, you all please tune in next time for Wellness Wednesday. I am going to do my best to try to get back on track to my noonday, even though I do like this 4 p.m. because this is more. It does seem like a suitable time, but you all just keep a lookout. I'll make a better decision soon. Bamboo Beach, Florida. All right now, Sunshine say we love the King. Okay, she said I'm in Bamboo King in Florida. All right now, you all take care of yourself and know that I love you all dearly and be blessed. All right, bye-bye.